Levels range from 0 being the cleanest to 500 being extremely hazardous. Right now, it's at 156, putting us into the unhealthy range. I spoke to a 49ers official who told me that if the level had hit 200 or higher for consecutive hours, then the game would have had to have been postponed. Nonetheless, both teams have taken measures to protect their players. The Giants gave out masks for their players and staff to use if they wanted while they're here in the Bay Area. And the 49ers have added extra oxygen available for their players tonight on the sideline. Tess.
Thank you, Lisa. This is obviously a situation that the league has been monitoring, the teams have been dealing with, and you saw the scene here with the crowd at Levi Stadium. The 49ers won the toss. They defer. The Giants will receive. Bradley Pinion to kick away. And Corey Coleman, the former first-rounder for the Browns, back to return as it goes out the back of the end zone. 15th season for Eli Manning. He has taken on the Giants' offensive woes head-on.
The execution's not exactly where it needs to be. The way we've worked and players we have, obviously disappointed, but that's what happens in this league if you don't play to the caliber that you can. We're running out of time. We got to get going. We just can't settle for almost anymore.
8 touchdown passes, 6 interceptions. The 1-7 New York Giants with Eli at quarterback. Gets the ball out quickly, and it's a drop by Odell Beckham Jr. What did you say about ball out?
Well, that was what they were going to do. We were going to have the ball out mentality, knowing that the offensive line wasn't going to be able to protect very well. And their best players have to make those plays. When you're open like that, quick throws. Odell's a star. He has got to make that play to start the game.
61 catches on the year. A bad drop there. Saquon Barkley is wrapped up by Malcolm Smith.
And this has been the problem with the New York Giants offense, is getting themselves in now into 3rd and long. It's hard to overcome that, obviously. The Giants' best formula is to get the ball out quickly. Understanding their skill group is dynamic. Those guys have to make those plays in early downs so they can stay ahead of the chains.
Now keep in mind the struggles of this offensive line and obvious passing downs when the defense knows they can come after them.
Yeah, especially against this San Francisco front, Joe.
3rd down and 11. As he goes just beyond the line of scrimmage to Evan Ingram. As coming in immediately was K'Wan Williams, so a 3-and-out for the Giants offense.
Coming off that bye, this is not the way they wanted to start. They looked at the film. Pat Shermer said we got to be better on early downs. Getting the ball out was critical for them, but their best players have to make those plays, and getting the running game going, knowing that has not been good enough through the first 8 weeks.
So Riley Dixon, 3rd-year punter out of Syracuse, to punt away. Richie James, the return man. And here is James as he catches a seam. Really good looking return by Richie James. And it was Riley Dixon, the punter, who has to make the tackle after the 23-yard return. So Nick Mullins, his 2nd start of his career, the young 23-year-old quarterback. Let's show you the development of Nick Mullins. As we go into the dark room. He's from Hoover, Alabama. Great high school football there at Spain Park. He was a state player of the year. He committed to Jacksonville State, then UAB, and finally flipped to Southern Miss, where he set all the records, most yards and touchdowns in Golden Eagles history. Of course, that is where the great Brett Favre played his college ball. Matt Breida able to get to the edge, and a stutter step, and finally pushed out by Jenkins.
That's exactly what they want to do. Start out with their wide zone scheme. They usually do it with their fullback Juszczyk in there. This time now they go and they just run the wide zone out of 1 back. If he gets the edge, Breida is averaging 5.5 yards a carry. Playing really well in this wide zone scheme of Kyle Shanahan.
Very good block on the outside there by wide receiver Kendrick Bourne. You can't get to the outside if your tight ends and your wide receivers don't block.
8-gap blitz. Mullins lost his footing for a moment, but still is able to get it to George Kittle.
You got the mojo. You got the mojo.
He also has Brett Favre in his corner as well. As look at this, keeping his balance. But Favre reached out to him last week and he said, listen, man, just be your best, be yourself, because your best is good enough. He really appreciated Favre and his advice last week.
Well, it's a great one to get advice from, Brett Favre. And I don't know if he's going to get 500 touchdowns in his career, but he needs to enjoy this while he can. And he understands this offense, put a lot of time in the last year and a half learning it.
I'm going to take the under on the 500 touchdowns. Here's Breida, as he is wrapped up by B.W. Webb. All right, a closer look at this offense and overall how you feel about it, Whit.
Well, their strength is on the running game, getting him on the perimeter. And one of the things that's interesting is Juszczyk plays a lot, over 60% of their snaps. Their fullback, he hasn't been in there to start the game. And the reason why is because New York is one of those defenses, they play that 3-4 system.
2nd and 8. As Ogletree wraps up Breida right away. Always nice when you got your fullback with that Harvard listed under his name, huh?
Yeah, he was an All-American at Harvard, you know, and doing well for himself, playing at a high level. But going back to that, the 3-4 system, it's hard to run against that because the big bodies, it gets really crowded in there. And so Kyle Shanahan made an adjustment, said, okay, we're going to go into 11 personnel, which is 3 receivers and 1 tight end. And it spreads them out, allows not only 5 guys on the line of scrimmage, now only the Giants can only have 4 guys on the front. So it's opening up those lanes for the running game.
3rd and 7.
Speaking of Juszczyk, he's the 3rd down back as well.
He's going to stay in for pass protection. And with that, able to get it complete. Pettis stiff-arming his way, but he's going to be 3 yards short of the line to make as Webb made the tackle.
Yeah, good job by the Giants defense. They brought a little token pressure to make Mullins feel a little bit uncomfortable, and they came up and made the tackle, make it 4th down here.
And a trot onto the field for Robbie Gould for what will be a long field goal attempt of 53 yards. But Gould has hit his last 7 field goal attempts from 50 yards or longer. And this is exactly where he lined it up for his last long kick of warm-ups. 53 yards. Just perfect. 8 straight field goals made from 50+ for Robbie Gould. The Giants' Saquon Barkley through 8 games. Look at the numbers: 519 rushing, 497 receiving yards. So he's on pace for something special. Over 1,000 rushing, just short of 1,000 receiving. The only players to hit 1,000 rushing, 1,000 receiving in a season: Roger Craig and Marshall Faulk. In terms of rookies for 2,000 scrimmage yards, Dickerson and Edgerrin James. Consider the pace of the rookie sensation Saquon Barkley, number 2 overall pick in this past year's draft. The Giants' star of now and of the future. And what a great guy he is. Always love to have our visits with Saquon Barkley. Humble leader, dynamic on the field. Corey Coleman is back again for the Giants for the pinion kick. Didn't get a chance last time. He doesn't have a career NFL kick return. So this will be his first. Flag is down as Coleman just gets beyond the 20.
During the return, holding, return team number 57. The penalty is half the distance to the goal. 1st down, New York.
Well, Joe, Saquon's had a really strong start to his rookie year. You know, we asked him, you know, what's been the biggest challenge? And he said getting used to the losing.
Yeah,
it says a lot about
his, right?
How he's gotten his career off to a start. But the last 4 out of the last 5 games, he has more receiving yards than he has rushing yards. Says a lot about him, what kind of player he is, but also says a lot about the offensive line. They have got to block, create some lanes, because if they can get that first level, he has gone to the races.
Here is Barkley as he gets a good run out to the 16-yard line. Now, that offensive line for the Giants, there have been a lot of recent changes. Size up this offense for me.
Well, it starts with the left tackle. They addressed it in the offseason. They knew they had to get better. Nate Solder was brought in here, paid a lot of money to protect that blind side, and he has not done a good enough job. The skill group, they're talented. Maybe the most talented in the league when you look at them with all the weapons they have. They haven't made big enough plays down the field. Reason why they haven't scored a lot of points.
2nd and 2. Barkley bounces it to the outside, and when he does that, watch out. Just gliding his way for a chunk play as Barkley goes for 18.
Well, he can go either way he wants. He's going to go here and then bounce it all the way back to the weak side. His ability to see it, allow it, and those cutbacks, those jump cuts. I think there was 2 jump cuts in there. His lateral quickness, parlayed with his explosiveness and power, is what separates him from a lot of backs in this league.
4-8, long game. 5-1. 4-8.
Slipped. So we had a slip from Mullins, and now Barkley. His legs gave way.
Yeah, and it's one of the things when you defend Saquon Barkley, he's a rookie in this league. It's like all rookies. He loves to get to the outside. And so one of the things when you have to defend him, you got to tackle the outside leg. He loves to bounce everything to the outside. That'll be key tonight. Can he grind the 3 to 4 to 5 yard plays to get to the home run? If I'm San Francisco, tackle the outside leg.
Second and 9, looks Barkley's way and then comes underneath to the fullback Penny. So he'll make for a 3rd down and 6. Look, this San Francisco defense under Robert Saleh.
Well, it's a defense test that's led by the front 4. 19 sacks with a 4-man rush. That tells you what they want to do. They're going to play 3 deep zone, play a little man. When they go to a 3-down front is when they bring their blitz packages. So if you're at home tonight, just look at the line of scrimmage. If it's 4 men with their hand down, they're rushing 4. If it's 3 guys with their hand down, they're bringing blitz. And Richard Sherman is still playing at a high level.
There he is now, 30 years old, Richard Sherman. 3rd down and 6. Driving it over the middle and trying to get the necessary yardage is Sterling Shepard, but it'll depend on the spot here. Fred Warner was quick to make the tackle.
Warner's a really good football player, the middle linebacker rookie. Leading the team in tackles and just his awareness. Trying to get up there and make that tackle, but unfortunately, in his situation, he saw it, drove on the ball, but the Giants got the 1st down.
He's a real athletic guy, Whit. He's going to be fun to watch him tonight, go sideline to sideline. They love the combination of him and Reuben Foster, who's injured tonight and not playing.
118.
Here's Barkley. Wow, nice job finding that little sliver past the 50. You know, I laugh. I said he's a humble leader, and then you juxtapose him against the #1 pick in Baker Mayfield, who said this morning, I woke up feeling dangerous.
Well, it's just a tight zone with this double team on this side, but he sees it and can cut back on these. This is a number of times you'll see him. He wants to keep it play side, to hold those linebackers, and then use his vision to cut back and find that soft spot.
5-1 double. That's it.
And Mayfield was dangerous against the Falcons yesterday. Browns came up with that upset. Barkley wrapped up right away. That was Eric Armstead, and it's a loss of 2.
But when you run this type of offense, the offensive line cannot allow penetration, even with Saquon Barkley as good as he is. And Earl Mitchell, the defensive tackle, came in there with penetration, and they could not block him. Pooley's just trying to hang on to these guys, and you cannot do it. If you can just block the first line, he'll make the next guys miss.
The 49ers got their pass rush group out. 97 Dakota Watson, 54 Cassius Marsh. Watch those 2 guys coming off the edge.
Marsh has 3.5 sacks on the year. 3rd and 5. And that ball is intercepted, it looks to be. They're fighting for it. Is it a simultaneous catch or an interception? That was Dakota Watson, who went up and corralled it for the 49ers.
Dakota Watson may have corralled it, but watch Cassius Marsh coming off the bottom of your screen, putting pressure on Eli Manning, forcing a quick throw, tip ball in the air. It belongs to the defense. Nice job by the front 4 of the 49ers. And then once the ball is in the air test, it's just a tip drill.
No, excuse me. That was not Watson in the middle of all that. And they are saying it's no interception at all. That
It's
was
fourth
Williams who came in. And that looked like Pulley, the center, was able to get enough of that where it is fourth down.
Give San Francisco's defense a lot of credit.
So a simultaneous catch, they're giving it to Pulley. And it's fourth down as Dixon comes on to punt. And this is going to be inside the 10 for Riley Dixon. Well, here's how the end of that play pulled out. Zip 49ers, thanks to a 53-yard field goal by Robbie Gould. They're going to credit Spencer Pulley with that third down catch for the Giants when there was a fight for the ball. Nick Mullins, his second start of his career from scout team quarterback to starting quarterback, and last Thursday just shredded the Oakland Raiders. So head coach Kyle Shanahan said he has earned the second start here. As Breida able to get free, ran into his own man in the backfield. Well, Nick Mullins, he went to Southern Miss. When we talked to him, he said, you know, my goal really for college football was to get invited to the Manning Passing Academy. So there he is with Arch and Peyton. And look at who's just to his left. The guy who now he's up against on Monday Night Football. That was the thrill of his college football career. And now he's opposite 37-year-old Eli Manning is the 23-year-old Nick Mullins.
Yeah, some dreams never come true, but if you keep dreaming, you never know. And that was a goal. I think that's amazing, the respect he has for the Manning family.
2nd and 6. And as he throws it short of George Kittle, and a flag is down back at the 6-yard line.
Holding. Offense number 44. The penalty is half the distance to the goal. Replay, second down.
Well, Kyle Shanahan was really trying to take the pressure off of Nick Mullins. First play, he runs the wide zone. One back, one tight end for the big run. They come back on the very next play. Looks the same. And then George Kittle coming underneath with the play action. Plays that look the same that are different. It's hard for the defenses to defend that. Good start for the young fella.
There's Juszczyk motioning back into the I formation look with the fullback. 2nd and 12 from his own goal line with time. And that ball is intercepted. B.J. Goodson off the deflection.
And Joe, that's the problem with a young quarterback. He's holding the football in the pocket, and he's making a throw from the right hash all the way across the field to the left sideline, and he's late with it. You can see it in rhythm and timing. Nothing's there. He's pumping the ball. Now he makes that throw all the way, and it's late. And Janoris Jenkins makes a break. Goodson comes underneath, and the tip drill is up for the defense, Will.
And Kendrick Bourne's really got to come back to that football. Nick Mullins needs to learn there. He was backed up. Young quarterback, pinned deep. It's critical that you take care of the football. Bad mistake by him, but he did not get help by Bourne not coming back to that football.
Barkley slips again.
You know, Tess, I was walking on the field before the game, and the field is a little damp. It's not wet, it's just a little damp, and we've seen 3 or 4 guys slip already tonight.
They're so used to playing on a lot of that field turf. You get on here and it looks great, and you look at it from up here in the booth, but footing is so important, especially late at night like this. It's got to take care of your feet.
Here's Coleman stacked up at the 10. Lisa, what's going on with the field conditions?
Yeah, Tess, well, when Saquon Barkley came off the field the last time, he wasn't happy because he'd slipped a couple times before. They brought out some different shoes for him with longer cleats, but he said he was going to try the ones he had on for one more series. You saw just what happened there. He's over here now switching out to those cleats with the, or those shoes with the longer cleats.
You can see the equipment staff trying to work as quickly as they can.
Yeah, in those situations, a lot of time, you don't like those big screw-ins because you feel like you're not as shifty in those situations. I always used to hate to do that because you want those molded bottoms, but most important thing is that you can be able to cut in those situations.
So Gallman remains the back here on 3rd and 8. Eli able to stay alive to the end zone, and touchdown, OBJ. Odell Beckham Jr. with his third touchdown catch of the season.
Really good job by Eli, just staying alive, keeping the play. Offensive linemen are fighting. And believe it or not, Tess, that's their first touchdown in the first half. In the last 3 games, they've gone without that. For Odell, just to stay alive, good awareness, just to find that soft spot, and Eli was able to find him.
And the offensive line gave him time. That was key.
Off the turnover, the interception by Goodson, and then the touchdown by Beckham Jr. We'll be back after this exclusive break as we discover the hidden treasures of San Francisco with the new Google Pixel 3. We check out these photos of San Francisco captured with the Google Pixel 3 camera. And we're thankful to Google for getting us back to the game a little bit early as we are down the road from San Francisco and Santa Clara, magnificent Levi's Stadium. And you think he's having a good time after a touchdown catch?
Well, he's excited to get going here. He had the drop early, but he's responded the right way. He understands, like, look, I know I'm going to get a lot of targets, but you got to make plays at critical times. He's coming in there. He just has the hook to get in the end zone, and then he gets it to say, okay, I'm going to stay alive. Eli has time, and he finds him.
You know, we talked about their skilled players. If Eli just has time, he has a really, really good group. And the offensive line, giving him time. Nate Solder inside. Hernandez. When you can give Eli Manning time, he can deliver the football over the linebacker in front of the end zone. Nice throw there by Eli Manning. Maybe that'll silence some of the criticism up in New York this week.
Time, critical. Give him time. Sacked 31 times through week 9. The most in the NFL. Now, you mentioned it, Boog. The headlines in New York, the Post, everything must go except Saquon. That's Dave Gettleman, the general manager, pictured there. Law and order. The third-string quarterback, Kyle Lauletta, the rookie, was arrested during the bye week. And 4 more quarters from the Daily News. With Eli Manning making what many say could be his last stand here in this stretch of games for the Giants. We had a really good conversation with Eli this weekend. He said, listen, I understand the business of football. I just want to worry about this game. I know I have to perform, and I'm hopeful I get to enjoy 8 more games. Here's Breida as he is taken down after a gain of 2. Look, what do you make of this Giants defense with the coordinator, James Bettcher?
Well, Tess, Bettcher runs a 3-4 defense, so that's predicated on the outside linebackers getting pressure. Olivier Vernon, Kareem Martin haven't gotten that done. They only have 10 sacks. The linebackers have been an issue. Alec Ogletree has played spotty, especially in coverage. But their playmaker on defense is number 21, Landon Collins. Look for him to be at or near the line of scrimmage all night long.
And I'm anxious to see how Nick Mullins responds. It's his first turnover in his NFL career.
2nd and 8. Wide open is Kittle. And this is what we've seen time and time again with George Kittle. 18 yards there.
Yeah, it's just a quick post. That's a matchup. Landon Collins on Kittle. He's just going to go up and run the quick slant in this situation, knowing that I can beat him in man coverage. Getting outside his body, coming back inside. The Giants said they liked that matchup, putting Collins on Kittle, but I think the Niners like that matchup with Kittle going against Collins.
Oh, they rave about him. Play action now on 1st down. Mullins comes to the near side to Juszczyk. You know, Kittle's an interesting story. Bounced around as a kid. He ended up growing up in Norman, Oklahoma. In fact, his dad was on Coach Stoops' staff with the Sooners, but he spent a good deal of his childhood in Iowa, dreamed of playing for the Hawkeyes. He was a skinny kid So he wasn't heavily recruited, was a good player, but did get a scholarship offer to Iowa on National Signing Day. And there's his fiancée, Claire. As he is off to a great start in his NFL career. Second year out of Iowa, the 24-year-old.
Made me feel old the last time we were with him. He called me Mr. Witten. I'm like, no need for that, young fella.
Welcome to retirement and feeling old, Whit. Alfred Morris, he was stacked up after 3. That was Ogletree with the tackle.
You know, you talk about Kittle at Iowa. Kirk Ferentz at Iowa does a phenomenal job with the offensive line and the tight end. So it's no secret that this young man comes into the National Football League playing well. He's gotten great tutelage at the University of Iowa.
It's not just in the passing game. He does it in the running game as well. He fights, he's competitive, takes pride in being a complete tight end. You need to benefit from this system.
Here we go, here we go. Tempo, tempo, tempo. Here we go. That's true, Mike. Chill. Here we go, here we go.
Final seconds here of this first quarter as it'll hit zeros. So they'll pick up with a 2nd and 7 when we come back. Beckham's touchdown catch, the difference on the scoreboard right now on Monday Night Football. ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by Applebee's. Bigger Boulder Grill combos. But they got a great museum here at Levi Stadium. The galleries, the exhibits dedicated to the 49ers history. You're getting life-size statues of the 27 inducted Hall of Famers. Start of the second. 7-3 Giants. Mullins. Good strike again to Kittle. Well, the Mullins-Kittle combination is showing up.
Well, Joe Staley with a really good block on this play action. Seeing the safety comes off on the edge, getting out there to him, allowing Mullins to set up this play action. Talked about how they set it up with the running game and then coming off of it. But the linemen, they have to have their eyes up. Joe Staley on the backside, the veteran player, to pick that up with the safety Riley blitzing. Big time play.
And they're attacking number 21 Landon College, both in man-to-man coverage and in zone on that last play.
Here's Breida. As the flag comes in there after a gain of just 1. Sean Hockley, our crew chief.
Personal foul. Face mask. Defense number 57. The penalty is half the distance to the goal. First down.
Got the face mask there, and Breida just gets so low when he runs there at the point of contact. Tell you what, though, Tess, Sean Hockley, he doesn't have the bicep like his old man Ed did, does he?
He's the son of the longtime NFL referee Ed Hockley, who I'm sure is in mid-curl right now. Sean, one of 4 first-year referees in the NFL. Sean's doing a nice job. What a dart of a move by Breida to get inside the 5.
It's really just a zone read, but the interesting thing that Kyle Shanahan does is he just releases these tight ends, which frees all this up on the backside for when he hands it off. Mullins sees it. He's probably not going to keep it, but there's big holes there by free releasing those tight ends. The linebackers and safeties and corners, they don't know if it's pass when you play like that.
Yeah, and B.J. Goodson did a poor job. He got to close a lot sooner. When that guard and tackle go down, he's got to come down with it.
Remember, Goodson had the interception earlier that set up the touchdown. 2nd and goal. Breida. He's in. Air Force band here tonight at Levi Stadium.
Juszczyk, though, coming back on the weak side on Olivier Vernon, just getting enough of him with the cut block, creating a lane, understanding what your job is. Good response by the 49ers offense and young Nick Mullins.
And I just like how patient Breida was, his ability to allow Juszczyk to make that block and then find the hole and then hit it with a burst.
And back to a 3-point lead for the 49ers. Matt Breida's third rushing touchdown of the year. Does it right here on Monday Night Football. Next week's going to be a great one. We're going to be at Estadio Azteca in Mexico City. Some are saying it could be maybe a Super Bowl preview. I think there's some teams that have something to say about that. But look at this matchup on Mahomes and the Chiefs. Gurley, Goff, and the Rams. Of course, Monday Night Countdown will get things set from Mexico City at 6 Eastern, and then kickoff from Mexico City of 9-1 versus 9-1. Rams Chiefs at 8:15. Here's Coleman on the return. And it's a good return. A flag just reined in back at the 22-yard line, as they will probably be retreating here from the 42-yard return.
During the return, holding. Return team number 82. The 10-yard penalty. First down.
All right, let's dig in on Rams and Chiefs next week on Monday Night Football. I mean, look at this matchup with Andy Reid and Sean McVay. They're like offensive scientists. You go into the lab, first and third in touchdowns. And, of course, Reid and McVay, they got the offensive weapons that are sort of in cryogenic chambers. Mahomes and Goff, they lead the NFL in passing yards. The running back, sensational. And both offenses with big play receivers. I mean, our custom graphic group. I know HBO's John Oliver, and last week tonight is going to just eat that up. That is a matchup next week now. 9-1 versus 9-1 with those two offenses.
Yeah, two prolific offenses playing at a high level. But the big question is, what's their defense going to do? The Los Angeles Rams, many people thought they were the favorite in NFC. The last 2 weeks, almost 1,000 yards they've given up on defense. And you better believe Andy Reid's going to have it dialed in.
You got to stop the run, indeed. Boog?
Yeah, especially for the Rams. And to me, that's been the most surprising thing. You know, we talked about this defense with Ndamukong Suh and Aaron Donald. Hey, the easiest thing to do in the NFL is to turn around and hand it off. And I think if Andy Reid can be patient, that's the key to the game. Can Andy Reid be patient and turn around and hand the football off to Kareem Hunt? Because Seattle had almost 300 yards rushing. You don't want to throw the football against this ferocious pass rush and allow Aaron Donald to get loose. Can Kansas City run the ball? Number one key to that game for me.
DJ Reed, backup defensive back, special teamer for San Francisco. He's walking off the field after receiving some medical attention. Now, the Chiefs beat the Cards yesterday, 26-14. Mahomes broke Len Dawson's single-season record for passing touchdowns. Did it already. Game number 10.
118.
Here's Eli as he checks down to Penny, the fullback, who takes Nazacha for a ride of 9 yards. The two-time Super Bowl MVP who has received so much criticism recently, Eli Manning. And he says, you know, it feels like they've been moving the ball well, just got to score points.
Yeah, they got to score more points. Certainly that's what they need to do. But, you know, the line hasn't played well, and then Eli's seeing the rush. And a lot of times he's never been a guy that escapes the pocket, so that's forcing him to take a lot of sacks and dumping it down a lot.
2nd and 1, play caller's dream, and with Barkley in there, he just is able to get ahead and move the chains for 3 yards.
You know, and when people look at Eli, he's at the point in his career right now where he needs help. They have a great group of skill position players, but the offensive line has to help him. And when they do help him, Eli's got to be a lot more consistent. We saw early in the game, when the rush came, Eli almost threw a pick. When the offensive line picked up the rush, he threw a touchdown to Odell Beckham Jr. He's got to get help from this great group of skill position guys, and Nate Solder has got to be better, making $15 million a year.
That was the headline-making free agent move for the Giants. Manning on first down, incomplete, was looking underneath to Beckham. Head coach Pat Shurmur, of course, was asked a lot about Eli's status.
And I'm
Wouldn't
not
discuss the future. He just said, hey, starting this game. But they had a real good talk in the bye week.
Yeah, they did have a really good talk, and I think he told Eli, like, look, here's where we're at. We're a 1-7 football team. And, you know, he said there's enough criticism to go around for the whole team, but it's going to start with Eli and the quarterback. And I think he's now realizing this is more of a rebuild than he thought.
Barkley was looking for anything there, just finds 2 yards, tackled by Nazacha.
You know, and people bring up with Eli, you know, should they have taken a quarterback at number 2? I personally think at that position, you take the best player available, and Saquon Barkley was the best player available. Now, with the record and how some of the rookies got started, I understand why people are second-guessing Dave Gettleman and the Giants. They have a plan going forward. Whether it involves Eli, I think only they know, guys.
He's got a huge third down opportunity here.
Third down and 8. Batted at the line of scrimmage. He was going to go with a shallow cross to Shepard, but it was deflected at the line of scrimmage. That was big DeForest Buckner at 6'7", getting a piece of it.
Yeah, it's tough to get it over him. They're running little games up front where the line's shifting, and you see Buckner just going all the way to the outside. He's so long, and when he knows he doesn't have the rush, he does a good job of getting his hands up because Eli had Shepard open there. Opportunity for some run after catch to get that first down.
So Dixon to punt again. He traded for him. Came in from Denver. And gets off a good boot that takes a nice bounce. Look at this effort from Riley Dixon. All the way just inside the 15-yard line. A 59-yard punt from the Syracuse native. Likes working it to tight end George Kittle. You know, playing tight end is sort of like being a pinball in the NFL. Listen to the Monday Night Mike.
Hey, Nick, way to get the ball out, man.
That's really good right there. I mean, that's clinic real on a lot of those things. And doing it on the end of the line, climbing to the second level. You need to be a complete tight end in this offense to take advantage of the play action.
Sure, George would say, thank you, Mr. Witten. Thank you very much, Mr. Witten. Here's the short pitch to Breida. Look at the lane that Breida's able to find as he's finally brought down by Michael Thomas.
That's just the wide zone again, but watch Kittle here on Landon Collins. They're putting him on the edge, and he makes this block to get the space. Displacement is the key, and Juszczyk following it up, creating the lane. Breida understands that he can just follow Juszczyk, and Kittle moving them east to west is what you're doing in this wide zone scheme. That's what I mean. Being able to do that in the running game allows him to capitalize now when they come back with a quick play action.
You know, this Giants defense just catching on the blocks. If you're Landon Collins, you got to be able to shock, lock, and escape and get off the block.
They're going to test the other side. And this time, he's wrapped up by Collins.
Well, one of the reasons why I think he's a complete tight end and a young star happening right in between our eyes here, seeing it one-on-one in pass pro because of the play action. He's going against Justin Houston, a big-time player. That's a pretty good block. And then on the edge, you don't know where that ball is going to go when you're a tight end. Just finish them in the end zone. And then play action. You got to be an actor sometimes on the edge, setting it up, and then capitalizing with the touchdown.
And come to him here on 2nd and 7 as he couldn't fight free as he was taken down by Lorenzo Carter.
The thing about him is when you run this play action, you got to use your judgment of, okay, I got to get to the other side. And I'm going to depend on the run fake to get me open. But how quickly can I get over there without getting pinball, you know, getting tossed around by these linebackers? And so you saw it on that last one with the play action. Pretend like I'm blocking, allow it clear out, and you can't really teach those things for a tight end.
Leaves him with a 3rd and 3. That's Selleck in the backfield now. As they come with pressure in the A gap, they pick it up. Mullins downfield. Oh, just beyond Breida.
You know, and one of the reasons why the 49ers are relying so heavily on Kittle is because they don't have a dynamic threat outside. Speaking of general manager John Lynch, he said that's the one thing they need on this offense. They need a dynamic threat, either another tight end to complement Breida or a wide receiver on the outside to stretch the field vertically.
You know, they drafted Pettis in the 2nd round. They went up and got him in this year's draft and thought that he could be that guy who could stretch the field. And Pierre Garçon, the veteran,
yeah,
he hasn't performed at that level.
Pinion on to punts away. Quandre Henderson. He will have the fair catch. 10-7. Niners on top. USAA and the NFL pay tribute to our armed forces through the salute to service. There's Nate Solder's dad, Ed. He was a '68 graduate of the Naval Academy. He was a U.S. naval pilot for 13 years. He flew missions in Vietnam. His uncle Bob also served combat tours in Vietnam, served until 1976.
That's it. 118. Right there.
Here's Barkley. As he was waiting for the fellow rookie, Will Hernandez, to get out in front there as the flag is down.
Personal foul, face mask, defense. That 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play. First down.
You know, speaking of Nate Solder, it was a really nice job of him and Will Hernandez pulling outside. That's the one thing about Nate. He's an athletic guy. He's a long-rangey tackle and pass pro, but he's athletic enough to get out and lead the toss on the outside.
I mean, he was a first-round pick. He played at a high level in New England, winning some championships up there. He's able to test the market, and he capitalized on it. You saw the payday he got. So I think it's just a more consistency play they need out of him.
There's Manning as he gets it complete to Beckham.
And that's a matchup I was excited to see. Odell Beckham on Richard Sherman. That was just an outcut. Going on that with the seeing it to push it vertical. Sherman's going to play off and outside, turning his hips. And Odell Beckham getting out of the cut, the transition at the top of the route. He said he worked on that this all season. He went back South Carolina or Southern California, did a lot of track speed workout.
118. Right there.
Look at Barkley able to get free for a moment. You like that matchup? Here's Lisa with more.
Hey, Tess, well, Odell Beckham and Richard Sherman have only faced each other one time before. Beckham's rookie season, Week 10, when the Giants faced the Seahawks in Seattle. It was only Beckham's 5th game as a pro. He missed time earlier in the season due to injury. So Sherman said there wasn't a lot of tape on him. But Richard told us after that game he made a note to himself, this kid, you got to watch him. Beckham had 7 catches for 108 yards that day. The Seahawks won the game, but Sherman said Odell definitely got his attention.
Anytime you trade jerseys, you know there's respect there. By the way, that was Eli's first throw deeper than 10 yards tonight. Barkley couldn't get free that time, as waiting on him was Richard Sherman. Fred Warner able to get involved as well.
Yeah, Fred Warner came down here. Sherman may have made the play, but Fred Warner shooting the gap. He saw it, and he shot the gap, and he forced Barkley. And notice what Barkley did. He tried to bounce it outside. It's the one criticism I have of this young man. Go inside. Get the tough 3, 4, 5 yards. Don't try to hit a home run on every single play.
Third and 4, Barkley's open, and Barkley will move the chains as he is finally forced out by Cassius Marsh. 13 yards there for Saquon and Eli.
Good call by Pat Shermer, getting Eli out on the run there. A couple of times there now where we've had some opportunities. Eli seeing him getting on the edge. He usually makes a lot of those plays inside the pocket. Barkley, one of the best things he does is as a receiver, getting him out in space. They treat those like runs. Anytime they can get him the ball in space, knowing that he's difficult to tackle.
And that's a nice adjustment. When your offensive line can't block, get your quarterback outside. Let that be a lesson to all young offensive coordinators.
Incomplete, was looking for Goldman. So Barkley, the new generation of running backs. Of course, we got the guys in their prime, and the guy who was most in his prime talked about going in with all the buzz this season, still hasn't reported to play football. Le'Veon Bell and the Steelers. The deadline's tomorrow, guys, in terms of reporting to be able to play this season.
Well, he's taking the long game approach, Tess. I mean, he's in it for the long haul. I don't think he shows up. I could be wrong. But the big thing is they've won 5 in a row without him here. James Conner, over 1,100 yards from scrimmage. So they're rolling right now.
You know, what they did to Carolina on Thursday night was downright silly. It was 52-21 win there. Gallman nowhere to go and wrestled down as Exum came in and then Sherman finished it.
You know, guys, here's the thing I'll say about Le'Veon Bell. People are saying, yeah, you're throwing away $14.5 million. To me, here's his point. I'm not going to allow the Pittsburgh Steelers to use me because it's clear to me that Pittsburgh wanted to franchise him, sign the tag, and let him go at the end of the season. Good job by Le'Veon Bell, not by turning down the $14 million, but by not allowing Pittsburgh to use him and not secure his future. I like what he did, even though some people out there don't like his play.
Yeah, there are opinions spray painted all over the place when it comes to how Le'Veon Bell has approached this. 3rd down and 9 now as Gallman is flanking Manning. And Manning able to get it complete for a 1st down as he gets it to the newly acquired Corey Coleman for 12 yards on 3rd and 9.
Well, he stayed in the pocket there, and he delivered that ball before Coleman was even out of the cut. You see it. Putting it right on the spot. Coleman adjusting, tight coverage, making the play. Give Eli credit, making those throws, and his line's protecting.
Yes.
You know, one of the things we haven't talked about Eli and all the criticism, and he needs to play better, but he's completing over 68% of his passes. It's a career high for him, almost 300 yards a game.
Coleman's last catch was 3 teams ago, the former 1st rounder for Cleveland. There's the slant, incomplete. Coleman was, of course, with Cleveland, traded to Buffalo. The Bills cut him. He was signed by the Patriots. Patriots cut him, and now on the Giants.
They must like Coleman to put him in there in that situation early in the game here. 3rd down, critical down, and for Eli to go to him in that situation says a lot about Coleman.
And things are about to get a lot tougher. Eli Manning has done a really good job so far in this game, managing the game, ball out on time. But now you're in the red zone. And defensive coordinator for the 49ers, Rob Saleh, is going to make it tougher. Okay, we're not going to allow Eli to sit back in the pocket. They got 4 down. It's going to be a 4-man rush and go against 3 deep zone here in the red zone.
Here's Barkley as he tries to go against the grain, a stiff arm, and then wrestled down at the 20-yard line by Jimmy Ward, and it'll leave them with 3rd down from there.
Jimmy Ward made a play, but what about number 90? The big fella. He's a 300-pounder. Earl Mitchell. Chase it. He stopped Saquon Barkley and then allowed number 20, Jimmy Ward, to make the play. One of the most impressive things that I've seen on tape this year is to watch the 49ers, a 2-7 team, playing with so much effort and enthusiasm on defense.
There is nothing that excites Booger more than a 310-pound.
You got to love the big guys running, Tess. Big guys with thin ankles running, it's an amazing sight.
I don't know how thin those ankles are, but I'll give it to you for now. 3rd down and 10. Manning lofts it to the end zone, and a flag comes in as Sherman is going to be tagged here.
And they brought all-out pressure there, and Eli saw it, bought time, and Sherman just grabbing, holding on there.
There were 2 fouls by the defense on the play. Illegal contact, number 23. That penalty's declined. Pass interference, number 25. That foul will be enforced at the spot of the foul. 1st down.
First pass interference against Richard Sherman this year.
Well, they knew they had man coverage. He allowed him to go in there, just holding on. He tried to keep it in tight. Eli sees that they're bringing the 2 linebackers inside. He liked the matchup, took advantage of it, really got that call made because he threw it up, trusting him in that situation. So,
Man, I tell you, I didn't see much there, Whit.
are you kidding me?
I didn't see much there. It was a lot of hand fighting.
So 1st and goal with the nose of the ball cresting on the 10-yard line. Barkley didn't have many options at all. It's amazing he even got a 1.5 yards there as Armstead comes up with the tackle.
Boog, and that hold, it's like the old offensive lineman. You know, you pull him in tight so the ref doesn't see it.
Exactly.
You know? Sherman's a vet now. He knew what he was trying to do.
Yeah, it was just some hand fighting there. But, guys, something else I've been impressed with this 49ers. They've studied the tape. They understand number 26, Saquon Barkley, likes to bounce the ball. Notice how all the 49er defenders are coming up, shooting the outside leg, forcing 26 back inside.
12th play of this Giants drive coming up, and it's a 2nd and goal. Barkley. And this time a lane that'll make for 3rd and goal at about the 3.
Well, they're just trying to dress it up a little bit by sending Odell in motion. He's going to come all the way back here to get all the attention of these guys and then come back in the heart of the defense with Saquon. Just dressing it up a little bit. And when he puts his foot in the ground, he gets north and south in a hurry.
And, you know, with something they're doing, because Eli Manning is not going to pull that and run the ball on a zone read, they're holding the tight end there and blocking the end. So it's really not a zone read. If I'm the 49ers, I just crash inside and go get the running back.
So we hit the 2-minute warning with the Giants trying to take the lead here on Monday Night Football. To help those affected by the California wildfires by visiting redcross.org or text CA Wildfires to 90999. Give $10 to American Red Cross California Wildfires Relief. Some of the scenes and images that we've been taking in here in Northern California this week have been so horrible. So here's a 3rd and goal for the Giants.
That's Odell inside. Saquon motion back into the backfield.
They're going to run it. And he doesn't even get back to the line of scrimmage on 3rd and goal. Fred Warner, the fabulous rookie from BYU, with the tackle.
And it's a classic case. When you see it, you go get it. And Fred Warner, one of the best young linebackers in football, he sees it. It's the same play they've been running. Shotgun, handoff, inside. He sees it. Now he goes and gets it. Nice play coming downhill by the young rookie, Fred Warner.
That was a nice play by Warner. I didn't love the play call there. 3rd and 3, it's going to be hard. One of the worst teams running the football through 8 games. You have these playmakers on the outside. We're seeing vintage Eli on this drive. Keep it in his hands and allow those receivers to get open.
It's just tough when you get down there on the 2-yard line. They're going to drop seven guys back. It's a lot easier to hand it off and run it in. So I kind of understand the play where Sherman's going there.
We're going old school extra point for 3 points here for Albert Rosas, who has made all 10 of his field goal attempts on the road this season. We are tied up. ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by GMC. Live like a pro. It was back in 1988 when Montana hit Jerry Rice for a 78-yard score, and the Niners shocked the Giants 20-17. Of course, they connected 55 times for touchdowns in their Hall of Fame careers. So many legendary numbers lining Levi's Stadium. 10-10 game here between the Giants and Niners. And you can sense the haze. Lisa, any update on the air quality with the fires?
Yeah, Tess, well, that air quality index that measures how clean or polluted the breathing air is. Remember, it was at 156 at kickoff. It's now up to 161, so it's not getting better, Tess. It's getting worse, and as you mentioned, I'm not sure if viewers can see it on their TVs at home, but down here on the field, you can definitely see a haze in the stadium. I will ask both coaches at halftime if it's having any kind of effect.
The fires are about 200 miles northeast, but depending on the winds, we were at practice the other day. They had to truncate the Friday practice. There was definitely an effect to heavier air the Saturday's practice. And as Breida goes ahead to the 29. Well, Odell Beckham Jr. is grabbing some oxygen there. He scored on a 10-yard touchdown for the Giants in the first quarter.
And as we get in this 2-minute drill here, 1:30 left in the first half, young guy from Southern Miss, Nick Mullen, making his second start. I want to see him in this 2-minute drill here. I would like to see Kyle Shanahan push the tempo a little bit, allow the young man to make some plays in the 2-minute drill.
Yeah, Boog, I don't think he's going to give it to him because the Giants have 3 timeouts. And, regardless of what you think, they have an opportunity to go 2 for 1 here because they get the ball coming out of the second half.
Go with the quick screen of Pettis. Pettis, who's been injured. He's got good upside, the rookie from Washington. Well, coming up will be the Genesis halftime show with Susie Colbert, Louis Riddick, Steve Young. They'll talk all about Eli and his first half. And then Scott Van Pelt's going to interview Josh Heupel, the UCF head coach. Game day's down there in Orlando this week. And a special Veterans Day performance by the U.S. Air Force Band of the Golden West. Saw them rehearsing a little earlier. You're really going to enjoy that as a beautiful observance of Veterans Day.
That last play, Pettis throwing the quick screen to him. He went out of bounds, which allowed the Giants to save a timeout. I can't imagine Kyle Shanahan was pleased with that decision.
1:06 remains, a 3rd and 5 for young Nick Mullins to the outside, and he gets it to Kittle. As you saw, Landon Collins breaking on that ball, and instead Kittle gets it and turns upfield.
James Betcher talked about the matchup with Landon Collins against Kittle. And I got to tell you guys, Kittle has been killing him all night long, whether zone or man-to-man. Collins tried to undercut that one. He missed. It's a matchup that Kyle Shanahan loves, and he's exploiting tonight against Landon Collins.
Nick Mullins may not have the size that you want in a franchise quarterback, but he does have the release, quick release. In that replay, we saw it, how quickly he gets the ball out to his playmaker's hands.
It's interesting that you use that trait and characteristic and descriptive of the release. A lot of times with the undersized guys, that's what gets them far in the league. This time with pressure coming in on him, he had to get rid of it. That was Olivier Vernon.
But Mullins' ability, he didn't take any sacks last week. And right there was another opportunity. Having the feel of the offensive line on the blind side, Joe Staley didn't get a great block. It was a good rush by Vernon just to get the ball out. Save the time now because you have it at midfield with 2 timeouts. You know, you can now take advantage of it, even though he wants to protect this young quarterback.
Second-year head coach Kyle Shanahan said Mullins earned this start with what he did against the Raiders. C.J. Beathard was healthy enough, got banged up last week. They had the Thursday night game, wasn't good enough to go. 2nd and 10 as he tried to get it with Kittle again, and there is the flag as Ogletree had the coverage.
Yeah, and give Kyle Shanahan credit for that one. He was motioned his back out, Breida, to create a matchup for
Before
Kittle.
the pass was thrown, holding, defense number 52. It's a 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Before the motion, he had Landon Collins. Then after the motion, he gets Ogletree. Says that's even better. Love that matchup. That was actually a good hold in that part of the field with that situation, because if he caught that, he may have been gone.
Well, and if you're James Bettcher, you got to realize Kyle Shanahan is featuring Kittle. He's the only guy he's featuring. So maybe you need to roll the coverage of safety to number 85, George Kittle.
That was dropped by Kittle. So Mullins tries to manage things here as Jimmy Garoppolo's up in the suite watching. Tore his left ACL in that 4th quarter of week 3 against the Chiefs. Of course, came over from the Patriots last year, went 5-0 down the stretch of the season, signed that big 5-year contract, $137 million worth of it, and then this happened in week 3 against the Chiefs.
Yeah, that was a devastating blow for this football team. The rebuild. He came in, played really well at the end of last year. A little up and down through the first 3 games of this season.
Complete this time to Goodwin. 17 yards there. Remember, 2 timeouts remain as Nick Mullins, youthful exuberance. He's pulling teammates up. He's saying, let's get to the line. We got work to do. Half a minute remaining here in this first half. Pumps, chase, and then has to burn it into the ground as Lorenzo Carter was getting after him.
After those big plays, a lot of teams do that where they capitalize on it and they're trying to take advantage because they feel like they got the defensive reel in on those situations. But you know, I'm always a fan of clocking it in that area. Even though you do have 2 timeouts, time is so important.
And you know, as a defensive guy, we were always in disarray. So I understand why the offense wants to speed up, because we have to make a universal call. Usually it's cover 2 or cover 3, and the offense knows what we're going to be in. So I think the offense thinks it's to their advantage in those situations.
Mullins was smart to protect the football because his guys weren't open.
So it leaves 22 seconds. Remember, still the 2 timeouts. As they go again to Pettis, and Pettis couldn't go anywhere that time. That was a good tackle by Grant Haley.
Trying to throw it underneath to the receivers, allowing them to do it with the run after catch.
You know, and Haley's a young guy. You know, you trade away Eli Apple, he's out. Now the young rookie Haley gets an opportunity to come in, make some more plays, and he's taking advantage of it.
Well, Saturday we have a doubleheader on ABC at 3:30. Will Greer, who's playing lights out for West Virginia. They're number 9 in the country. They're going up against Oklahoma State and Stillwater. Then at 8, it is 9-1 Cincinnati against 9-0 UCF, number 12. Of course, the ESPN app will have your full day of college football. And UCF, the nation's longest current win streak at 22 games. College Game Day is going to be there in Orlando. Reese Kirk, coach, Des, Maria, David, had a blast up at BC with them this week, and now they're off to Orlando. They go from the cold weather to the warmth. 3rd and 11, complete inside the 20 for a first down to Goodwin.
Kyle Shanahan.
This kid's got a little something, doesn't he, Nick Mullins?
You know, you call it moxie, whatever you want to call it. Just he sees it and he gets it out quick. 2 in cuts, knowing that he had the timeout in his back pocket, so that was okay. These guys play outside leverage. Goodwin using his speed to get the first down.
You know, the Giants defense had been solid actually in 3rd down conversions of 3rd and 10 or more this season. Only allowing 2 coming in, 2 of 27. But
now
he's able to go there on that 3rd and long and convert. You see his numbers on the night.
Now as a young quarterback, though, you cannot take any sacks. You're trying to make plays and extend, but you cannot take sacks with no timeouts.
Remember, he was able to do this last week as well against the Raiders. Bring the team down under the 2-minute warning and get a field goal out of it. What can he offer up here? Can he break this tie? Nearly picked off. It hit Grant Haley.
And we've seen it a couple of times. It's an out route. He threw it on time, but he threw it behind the receiver there. So I understand what he's trying to do. Nice play call by Kyle Shanahan, calling an out route so the receiver can go out of bounds, but you got to lead Pettis. You can't throw it 2 yards behind him. He'll learn from that, throwing the football and leading your receiver.
They had the matchup, inside leverage, being able to potentially get a touchdown, if not get out of bounds. Good call by Shanahan. Mullins, just a bad miss there.
So on comes Robbie Gould, who's having another outstanding season so far. He's 19 of 20 on the year. Remember, he made from 53 earlier. As New York will take a timeout before Gould's 36-yarder. Kyle Shanahan, his second year in San Francisco.
Yeah, he taking on a big-time rebuild. And we just talked about Jimmy Garoppolo as franchise quarterback going down. But, you know, you keep playing hard. And I watch these guys on tape. The best compliment I can say is that I could not tell that they were a 2-7 football team.
Nor at practice with either, right?
That's right. And so his message is getting through to his team. If you do the things the right way, continue to do them, the results will come. And you see that in his football team as he's in his second year as head coach.
.36-yarder goes through. So Mullins does the job, bringing the Niners down the field, and then Gould rewards him. Well, both these teams, you talk about the roster management and the rebuilds. The first season for Giants GM Dave Gettleman and Pat Shurmur. Oh, that famous, iconic photo, lunch atop a skyscraper. Well, this is how they're trying to build it. 67% of the Giants roster is new. Of course, second season for general manager John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan. They've been mining for gold. They've replaced 82% of the roster, the highest percentage in the NFL since they took over in 2017.
You know, Ted, so far, I think we look at these two general managers and head coaches differently. I like what they're doing in San Francisco. John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, they have a plan. Yes, Jimmy Garoppolo and Jerick McKinnon got hurt. So you can't do anything about that. But I like where they're going. I like the attitude. Not the same thing on the other side with Dave Gettleman. Dave Gettleman, I think he missed with Nate Solder. He's going to need a quarterback coming forward. What about this defense, some corners? I like what they're doing in San Francisco, not so much in New York.
Just going to squib the last 2 seconds of this half away. As Robbie Gould bookended field goals. Started with a 53-yarder, finished with a 36-yarder, and it's the Niners 13-10, and they will get the ball to start the second half. Eli had a passing touchdown in that first half, as we'll join Suzy Kolber in the Genesis halftime show. Second and 12, and that ball is intercepted. Eli able to stay alive to the end zone. OBJ.
Hey, that'll silence some of the criticism up in New York this week.
America loves the underdog story, and Nick Mullins is absolutely that.
Breida. He's in. 13-10 San Francisco. That underdog story of Nick Mullins. The 14-year age difference between Eli and young Nick Mullins. Eli does have the touchdown pass on 10 of 15. What do you make of the quarterbacks in our first half, Whit?
Well, it was a good start. You know, I mean, I think Eli Manning had a lot of dinking and dunking underneath there. You know, 5 possessions, really. 3 of them they punted. They had the short field there, and they were able to capitalize on that with a touchdown. But that final drive he had where he went 14 yards and 14 plays, and he went 80 yards down the field, settled for the field goal. But I think we saw vintage Eli in that situation.
Kay Jeweller's extraordinary moments. A look at George Kittle, the tight end I know you really like a lot.
Yeah, Nick Mullins likes him a lot as well. Doing it in the running game, setting the edge on Landon Collins, creating lanes for Breida, and then the awareness to find that area in the play action game. Get through all the traffic, settle in, Allow for an easy throw. That's what the good tight ends do. And then being able to get an open space in the slot as a receiver. Go up there, shake him a little bit. Great separation for the easy throw. Nick Mullins likes this tight end, and rightfully so. You know, in the last 2 games, he's targeted him 10 times. He's got 9 catches.
Isn't that something? Boog?
Yeah, and I love what they've done with Kittle in the first half, but I think in the second half, if you're the 49ers, with the way the offensive line is coming off, I would love to see them feature Matt Breida a little bit. You've got Kittle, now feature the running game and allow the running game to get going. That way you set up your play action down the field.
90% when he throws to Kittle. All other targets, he's 63%. Eli and Odell. Odell had the 10-yard touchdown reception in the first half. It's a knuckler that's going to go out of bounds. That was the 3rd time that Rosas has put a kickoff out of bounds.
Number 2 of the kicking team. The ball will be placed at the 40-yard line. First down.
Yeah, the head's down and you walk past the coach and you're going to hear a little something. Lisa?
Hey, Tess, well, Kyle Shanahan told me that he thinks Nick Mullins did a decent job in the first half. He said he had some opportunities. He made some. There was some that he missed. Let's see how he does his second half. Pat Shurmur said he was disappointed with a couple of things that happened, especially, he said, them coming down and allowing the 49ers to get a field goal. He said didn't like that. And he said, we had 1st and goal. We have to get it in. Both coaches, I asked them about the declining air quality. Both said they hadn't noticed.
Lisa, I want to check in a little later with you on that, see if there's a change to that. They're going to take a shot to open up this second half, and it is well beyond Kendrick Bourne. Jack Rabbit Jenkins was the closest to it, the corner for the Giants.
Aggressive mindset, taking advantage of the field position. I mean, the Giants, they just can't get a break here. You know, come back, got ourselves a ball game. They're only down 3. Hey, how about we kick it out of bounds, give them the ball at the 40-yard line. So Nick Mullins trying to stay aggressive. And that's what I'm looking for him to do here in the second half. Play smart football. And like you said, Bug, you got Breida. He's averaging 5.5 yards a carry.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to give it to him.
Absolutely.
Here's Nick Mullins on 2nd and 10 as he goes underneath and able to get it complete again for 5 yards to Kittle. So Nick Mullins, you know, it comes on last week and everybody's like, who is this guy? He got a blue check verified by Twitter in the middle of a game. And here is who he is. He grew up in Alabama, Birmingham, and is always a young football fan. In fact, in 3rd grade, folks, that is his 3rd grade school project. And it was on Joe Montana. So get out all the metallic markers and the Elmer's glue and the construction paper, and he's down there in Alabama in 3rd grade, and he's taking a deep dive on the 49ers legend. Wrote about his entire career, and then he grows up to be the 49ers quarterback at this time.
Tess, you said that about he got a blue check. You know, that's a big deal. That's a sign of respect. That's a real thing in 2018.
Let me tell you, he went from nobody to being the most searched NFL player on Twitter all of last weekend. Man, Nick Mullins, welcome to the big time.
Man, I know I'm getting old when a blue check is the thing to get.
Boy, I'll tell you, you know, we mentioned it earlier, but all the success he's had and all the past week and the buzz about him, he's just the same every single day, isn't he?
He is, but, you know, I asked Richard Sherman about it because I thought nobody knows him better than the star corner, because Nick Mullins has been playing the scout team quarterback for the last year and a half, and he said, you know, he would just get so frustrated when he throw an interception, and Richard said, hey, that's what you're supposed to do.
Right. We know the plays.
Yeah.
Just read the card. We know the plays.
But that
says he's the only scout team quarterback who he's ever seen upset with throwing interceptions.
That's his mindset.
3rd and 5, and he gets it complete for a first down to Breida.
And Mullins' ability to see it pre-snap, knowing he's going to get that matchup on Alec Ogletree, looking to the left, allowing Pettis to clear it out. And they like that one-on-one. And, you know, to your point, Bug, they traded for Alec Ogletree, the Giants did. And goes back to Gettleman and thinking that they had that player. You know, you're looking for him not only to be a solid player, but to be the leader of that defense.
Got Kittle one-on-one outside against Landon Collins.
There he is, bottom of your screen.
Before the snap, False start. Offense, number 85. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Kittle is wearing that Monday Night Mike tonight.
Oh, hey, guys, how we doing, eh? Oh, almost got you.
Such a personality, isn't it? First and 15 after the penalty, as Morris is stacked up just after a yard.
A lot of these tight ends now, star tight ends, got personality. We got Gronk and Kelsey.
I don't know how much longer we have Gronk. Gronk has been dealing with such injury issues this year. How about the Patriots yesterday?
They sure missed him, didn't they?
Titans 34-10. Coach Vrabel against his old team, his old coach.
Yeah, a student took it to the teacher. You don't see that often happen to Bill Belichick. And the Titans just holding that offense, the Patriots offense, to 10 points in less than 300 yards. Incredible.
You know, it kind of gives credence, guys, to the report that Schefter had that the Patriots wanted to trade Gronk before the season. Now maybe we see why.
Second 13, play action. And once again to guess who? George Kittle. This has been going on all year long, but even more so with Nick Mullins.
Yeah, and there's Alec Ogletree, and watch Kittle. He's going to come right in behind him, but it's the play fake that gets him open. Kittle sees it, allows it the play action to go, little motion, and right when that happens, that's the hole. Knowing that, getting away from it, so Landon Collins cannot close on him. All the motions and the shifts, and then motion back out that Kyle Shanahan does just to get his guy on a play action on a linebacker.
3rd and 1, as should have the first down. You know, you consider the percentage of a team's receiving yards. You see Zach Ertz there at 30%, Kelsey at 25%, and yet there's George Kittle at 31%. Highest percentage of a team's receiving yards in the NFL. Hey, speaking of Zach Ertz, last night, that Sunday night, that was a thriller between Philly and Dallas. He's on a record pace.
He's playing at a high level. I think he's going to shatter my record of 110 catches by week 13. I mean, he kept his football team in that game. Zach Ertz did, but give the Cowboys credit. Went on the road and won a big game last night.
Still got to stay healthy, Witt. Still got to be productive. But he is having a great year. And a good run here by Breida.
You know, it's amazing, guys. You're talking about the Cowboys. We had them last Monday night. They laid an egg against Tennessee. Now you go on the road against Philadelphia. You get a win. The NFC East, even though the Redskins are leading the East, don't we get a feel that the East is still up for grabs? At least I do.
Yeah, of course you do. I mean, Cowboys and Eagles are sitting there now, 2 games back, 4-5. And the Redskins are 6-3, but, you know, we've seen them in some of their losses where they haven't played at that level, but their defense is keeping them in this thing, and Alex Smith is smart with the football.
Yeah.
Here's 2nd and 1 now. As Breida will go off that right side. He's pushed back, but he does get the first down as Vernon had the tackle.
And we talked about this 49er offense coming out in the second half, establishing the run game. They're the 4th best running team in the National Football League. So as much credit as we give to Kyle Shanahan for diagramming plays, and rightfully so, because he does an outstanding job, in the end, everything is about the running game. Nice to see him get it going here.
Breida limps off, and Alfred Morris will be dotting that I formation in front of Juszczyk on the 9th play of this drive for the 49ers. Here's the pitch. As he cuts it inside, and Goodson with the tackle of Morris. Here is Breida, came in averaging a league-high 6 yards per rush on first down this season. That can be a quarterback's friend. Helpful with young Nick Mullins out there for head coach Kyle Shanahan. There's an injury timeout as Goodson's slow to get up, and we'll take a short break.
Pat Mahomes is going to light this league on fire.
They can score on just about anybody. The Rams are making a prime-time statement.
Showtime! Showtime! That is going to be spectacular next Monday night at Estadio Azteca in Mexico City. This was the scene today as they are getting ready for the 9-1 Chiefs against the 9-1 Rams in Mexico City for Monday Night Football next week. Both teams 9-1. Folks, this is just the fourth matchup between teams with one loss or undefeated this late in the season, week 11 or later, since 1990. Only the fourth time in NFL history. What a matchup this late in the season. That is next week from Mexico City on Monday Night Football. 2nd and 9 now, as Mullins has the empty set.
Yeah, and like this quick screen to Kittle.
There it is. Good eyes out of you, but they see it as well as Jenkins comes up with the tackle.
You know, Mullins hasn't played bad. I mean, he had the one critical mistake, throwing that interception, but otherwise, he's been accurate. He's been patient. He seems very poised. He needs to take advantage of this opportunity down in the red zone. You know, getting touchdowns, making it a two-possession game would be really big for them right now in the third quarter.
Yeah, well, he's been very poised. I look for defensive coordinator James Bettcher from the Giants to heat him up a little bit. He's way too comfortable in the pocket. He's only making his second start. If I'm the coordinator, I bring a little pressure to this young guy. See if he can handle it down here in the red zone.
3rd and 8. And it is hauled in by Breida for the touchdown.
Let's
11-yard strike. Nick Mullins to Matt Breida.
Well, they broke the huddle really quickly because they had a matchup that they were taking advantage of. Breida right inside here in the bunch set. Ogletree has to work through all that traffic. They saw it earlier in the drive that was a matchup that they liked. They wanted to hide it by getting him in the bunch set. Good call by Kyle Shanahan. And how about Mullins?
My old coach told me, with anytime the quarterback pats the ball, that's not on the secondary, that's on the front four. Have to get some pressure to the quarterback there. Can't let him pat the ball in the backfield.
And the Niners have a 10-point lead. Nick Mullins, they were 3 of 3 on 3rd down on that drive, including this. Matt Breida with a touchdown catch. You know, the NFL is deeply committed to its Salute to Service, the league's year-round effort to honor, empower, connect with our nation's service members, veterans, and their families. Join us in thanking those who bravely serve our country. Generate an NFL donation to its military nonprofit partners. You can visit NFL.com/salute. Coleman's going to take this out. And it's a good decision to do so. A 51-yard return by Corey Coleman.
Well, Coleman's trying to make his presence known, using his speed to set it up. One cut. You see why he was a high pick. He has some natural ability to him. He's got something to prove right now.
That was the longest kickoff return for the Giants this season. Just signed him on October 19th. Told you the path of Cleveland and the Bills. A cup of coffee with the Patriots, and now the Giants, and being productive tonight as a kick returner.
He's got Odell.
Wide open is Beckham Jr.
The play action passes, they've given him time. Eli's tried to do that earlier in the year, but his protection didn't hold up. Now he's doing it, staying in the pocket, throwing him open. And these two connecting. Having that matchup, the stem of the route, Odell sees it. He knows that he can give him a nice angle so Eli can put touch on that ball.
5-1.
And after that long drive by San Francisco to go up by 10, this has a quick strike quality to it with the Giants.
You know, before the half, they had that 3rd and 2. Eli killed it right there, that sign, to get themselves in that situation. Odell Beckham, he went to the run. He was open. Felt like he was uncovered. He's pointing and said, I had that opportunity. He was not pleased with it because he's saying, there's nobody on me.
I'd have been talking to the coach, too, if nobody was on me. But it's a nice adjustment, though, by Pat Shermer. On that play-action pass whip, they went max protect. So now Eli feels like he's protected.
2nd and 7. Oh! Almost took a stab at it with that left hand just to even make that effort, Odell Beckham Jr.
Odell Beckham Jr. makes a miss look spectacular.
Sure does.
We've seen him make the one-handed catches before. He has it for a second. Nice throw by Eli Manning, only where his guy can get to it, and Beckham almost with an amazing catch.
And Witherspoon played him pretty good, and there's nothing you can do in that situation. I mean, I was watching Odell in warm-ups, making like catches like this every other time. It's like Steph Curry shooting 3-pointers pregame. I mean, you're going to see things you don't believe when you watch these guys.
In midair, it looked like he had no chance to even touch it. Now a 3rd and 7.
The 49ers in the 3 down front. Here come the blitz.
He's going to it again.
Why not? That was a little easier, wasn't it? Odell Beckham Jr. Dance, dance, dance.
You see Witherspoon, he was not happy. Thought he had some help on that play. They actually doubled Ingram inside. Witherspoon said, we don't need to double him. And good release. Getting on the edge, getting vertical. He knew he wanted the line of scrimmage, and he wanted that football. Eli Manning said, I see it too. I'm coming to you.
You know, it's almost as if Witherspoon was looking for help because he got in a trail position, and then he turned around and looked at his fellow teammates like, hey, where was somebody at?
That was a great response drive by the Giants to bring it back to 3. Odell's 2nd touchdown of the night on Monday Night Football. Back here in Santa Clara, where Eli and Odell just connected for the 42nd time for a score. Look at those career numbers of that combination. 20-yard touchdown pass, Manning to Beckham Jr., and it's back to a 3-point margin here on Monday Night Football. Joe Tessitore, Jason Witten, Booger McFarland, Lisa Salters at Levi's Stadium. Glad you're with us as we finish off week number 10. A week that has seen the Saints climb to, new levels with their beatdown of the Bengals 51-14, and has set up the Rams and Chiefs both now at 9-1 to meet up next week in Mexico City.
On that touchdown throw there, the San Francisco defense had a miscommunication. You see X on the free safety is looking over at Jimmy Ward saying, hey, get back. We were playing too high safety look in this situation, which would have played out like a double team on Odell. See them throwing their hands up. Witherspoon thought he had help. He's like, what's going on? I thought I had the safety in there behind me, but you cannot miscommunicate and have those miscues at that part of the field. That's a big reason why they're 2-7.
Look at that conversation because of it, yeah. See Richard Sherman. Richard discussed that with us this weekend about how vocal he is and his willingness to really step up as a leader on this defense. Nick Mullins, look at all the time Mullins has, and finally checks down to Juszczyk, who was taken down that time by Lorenzo Carter.
And that's the one thing you can't have if you're the Giants. He's just way too comfortable back there in the pocket. Kyle Shanahan, play action, max protect. They were looking for a deep ball, but the Giants have to establish some pass rush. Olivier Vernon, where are you at, my friend? Someone get some pass rush.
2nd and 11. And Kittle taken down for a loss by Carter again. Very active Lorenzo Carter tonight.
You know, going back to that touchdown, though, you know, Sherman said that. He said, I'm trying to have patience. I know what I signed up here for as a veteran. I'm not used to losing, but the important thing is that we hold these guys accountable. And you see them there. They're going to talk about it, figure it out. It's a young group, but we got to hold them accountable because you can't have mistakes like that in the red zone.
He was very honest with how he would have reacted years ago.
Yeah, he was very honest. He said he was, you know, he said,
well, we'd have to bleep out what he said.
Yeah.
We'd have to bleep that.
Yeah, but he just said, I would not stand for that in my younger years.
It's a nice euphemism for it. Very good job by you. You're becoming a TV guy quickly. There's a 3rd down conversion again by Nick Mullins. As a flag is down, we'll check on that. It's at the 47-yard line, but he goes for 14 yards on 3rd and 12.
To guess who?
Kittle.
Exactly. I mean, he's been throwing to George Kittle all night. If I can see it up here and you can see it up there.
Pass interference. Offense number 85.
Oh, they're going to get Kittle.
10-yard penalty. Replay 3rd down.
So they'll bring this back as he created that space to get this matched up against Haley.
Yeah, and he pushes off there. But even if he wouldn't have pushed off, that's where he's going. Nick Mullins is so comfortable going to George Kittle, and Kyle Shanahan is so comfortable calling those plays. James Bettcher and the Giants have got to figure out a way to take away Kittle from this young man.
You know, I was playing in the Pro Bowl a few years back, and Jimmy Graham was on my team. You just see Kittle. I mean, yeah, he got called. They're going to call that when he falls like that, but how physical he is with his hands.
On 3rd and 22, he's going to go to Juszczyk and play it safe. Remember, Kittle is wearing that Monday Night Mike tonight.
Hey, let's get lined up quick here, boys.
Getting lined up quicker served him well in the touchdown.
Yeah, it did, and he just so plays with the right energy. You know, he's celebrating with Breida on that touchdown. Plays the right way.
Oh, man, Henderson got wrecked there, and the flag comes in as that was Moore charging down against Quandre Henderson. Want to play in the NFL, do you?
Just a hair early. Just a hair.
I'd say so.
Just a hair.
Tarvarius Moore, the rookie from Southern Miss.
Kick catch interference. Kicking team number 33. It's a 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. 1st down. Timeout.
Got a competitive game here. 3-point margin in the 3rd. ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by Burger King. Get 10 crispy chicken nuggets for just $1 only at Burger King. How about Bavaro back in '86? Mark Bavaro, Giants great. One of the most memorable catches in Monday Night Football history. As the Giants came back against the Niners, they won that 21-7 back in December of '86. The big bruising Mark Bavaro. We go with a reverse here with Shepard. And look at the blockers in front as Shepard finally goes out. But Spencer Pulley at 300-plus pounds was looking for work all the way downfield. 27 yards there.
Well, knowing that they got to get the ball on the outside. Good call by Pat Shurmur. Double reverse there. And watch Eli just get enough of Dakota Watson. Get in the way there. Just slowing him down.
Are you kidding me?
But what a call there by Pat Shurmur. Being able to change field position, get a little momentum in this offense.
Pitch. Barkley has a lane and then is ripped down against Watson. Oh, you want to see Manning's just enough on that reverse? Here's Eli Manning. Let's see the just enough.
He put the arms out. He went out there to put the arms out. He was ready to block if he didn't fall down.
Are you kidding me?
I got your back, Eli.
Seriously? Are we calling that a block in 2018?
No, we're not. We're not. Oh.
5-1.
Let's take the big chunk play any day. He did his job.
118.
2nd and 9. Saquon. As he took Witherspoon for a ride for a couple of yards. Gets 6 there. Saquon Barkley tonight. Outstanding rookie.
Yeah, and that's what you have to do with Saquon Barkley. We know he wants to cut the ball back. He's really, really good at bouncing. Sometimes he can't bounce it. This time he bounces it outside for a nice game. Here gets it, looks to bounce it. Should have probably put his foot down and gone back inside. He gets tackled for a loss, and now takes it back inside. And that looks like a negative play. But those 3-, 4-, and 5-yard games become 9- and 10-yard gains later in the game.
Came in tonight with the 3rd most scrimmage yards in the NFL. Only Gurley and Connor have more. 3rd down and 3. Incomplete off the hands of Odell Beckham Jr.
Well, Odell Beckham fell on that route, and it was open. They're playing a soft zone there that they're known for in San Francisco. Richard Sherman's playing off. He's thinking he's got a hook player coming underneath. And Warner just doesn't get there quick enough, but Odell liked to have that one back because he'd certainly have an opportunity to score another touchdown if he could have kept his feet.
You know, players like a firm surface. This surface is firm, but it's damp on top. A lot of players slipping tonight, not seeing the best quality of football we could see.
So Rosas to tie it up. 31-yarder. Well, we've had the discussion about Barkley and which way do you go in the draft, but when it comes to running backs and quarterbacks drafted back-to-back in that order in the top 5 of the draft since 1970, well, we had Marshall Faulk and Heath Shuler, 94. Reggie Bush and Vince Young in 2006. So the running backs have clearly had the better careers when you look at Faulk and Bush. And now Barkley and Sam Darnold, the dynamic New York duo here in 2018. I mean, this is really the buzz of what the Giants should have done. I mean, most look at Barkley and say, listen, best player in the draft, not close.
There's no question on that. But a quarterback is the most important position on the field, and he can affect the game and for a long time. And if you view Darnold as a franchise quarterback, which I think a lot of people did, and I know he has more interceptions than he has touchdowns so far, but he has a bad football team in the Jets that he's playing on. You've got to get that guy. Think of all the great running backs. And I would certainly put Barkley in there that never got to a Super Bowl. O.J. Simpson, Eric Dickerson, LaDainian Tomlinson, and, you know, they never got an opportunity. I guess LaDainian Tomlinson did, but the other ones, they didn't have that franchise quarterback. And you got to take him if you think he is a franchise quarterback, and certainly I felt like Sam Darnold was.
You know, I think the hit and miss rate on the quarterbacks is really, really high. And if you got an opportunity to get a can't-miss running back, a guy who's already a top 5 running back in the National Football League, I'm a firm believer you take the best player available. Saquon was probably the best player in the draft. The fact you got him at number 2, I like what they did. Now let's move forward, figure out your quarterback position, whether it's in this draft or in free agency. But I do believe you take the best player available, and Barkley was that.
And there's no denying what type of player Saquon Barkley is. I mean, I think he is already one of the best in the National Football League and will be for quite some time.
Breda stacked up there. All right, so, Boog, you mentioned drafted free agency. I want to show folks next year's draft prospects at quarterback coming out of college football, because we just had this unbelievable crop of players, and now this is what 2019, according to Mel Kiper, would be. Justin Herbert at Oregon, Jones down at Duke. Greer's playing well, but how is he as a prospect? And Herbert, Gettleman, the GM of the Giants, a lot of the folks in the scouting department, they were there this weekend to see him play, but that is not the crop that we just had. I mean, this past draft was loaded with quarterbacks. As Morris trying to find something. And then in terms of free agency, it's also a limited group. I mean, Kirk Cousins last year and guys like that, but this year when it comes to potential quarterback free agents, well, Teddy Bridgewater, you know, obviously was with the Jets, sent down to the Saints, but remember, he becomes a free agent. And then Taylor, Fitzpatrick, potentially some others depending on contract situations. But, I mean, Teddy Bridgewater right now would be the big score.
Yeah, and when you look at the college guys, you have an opportunity to come into with Eli Manning and learn from him. And, you know, if you're 1-7, you can throw him in there and have an opportunity to play, but learn how to prepare, how to work. And Saquon Barkley's benefiting from that, too. He told us that Eli's sharing stuff with him on film that he's never seen before.
Well, Breida out injured as he drives it to Goodwin. Another good third down conversion for moments. We're going to check on a flag here at the 45 that rained in at the end of that. As Goodwin is still down on his knees at the end of that play. You know, having said all that about the quarterbacks, the free agents, here's Eli Manning with 2 touchdowns tonight.
Unnecessary roughness, defense number 52. The 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play. First down.
So the personal foul on Alec Ogletree. Watch the end of this play. Oh, he gets him right in the head with that right shoulder. And they're going to take their time here in attending to Marquise Goodwin. Always a slow approach when you're dealing with a head injury of sit up, get to your knees, assess, and now that's a good sign to see him jogging off.
Yeah, you know, Ogletree's in a tough position. Goodwin's catching the ball. He's trying to dislodge the ball by coming in with the shoulder. He just happened to catch him in the head.
Final minute here of this third quarter, a 20-20 game.
First and 10 of the Giants.
Going back to Eli and where he's at, I really think, Tess, he told us that when we talked to him there was, I'm going to use these next 8 weeks to go play my best football and see what happens. And, his back's been against the wall before, and he responds. And, tonight, playing pretty well.
Yeah, responded well here in the latter half of the third quarter as Morris can't find much there. Martin with the tackle. Flag is down again at the 40-yard line. Remember, the third quarter started with Breida with a touchdown catch. San Francisco was up 20-10. And then Eli gets it to Beckham and then works the field goal drive. And here we are tied up.
Holding. Offense number 58. 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
We talk about Eli Manning, and this is the reason why Pat Shurmur got hired, for what he did in Minnesota with the quarterback there. And for me, if you're Pat Shurmur, it doesn't matter the quarterback you draft, whether he's got a big name or free agency. Pat Shurmur's job is to be a quarterback whisperer, to coach the quarterback up and get him to play. We saw what he did in Minnesota. Can he do it here in New York?
Yeah, he was the play caller for the Vikings and turned Case Keenum into a quick star, including the Minneapolis Miracle in the divisional playoff win over the Saints. Say what you want about 1-win and 2-win with these teams. We got a tie game here heading to the fourth. Beautiful look at San Francisco. We're just south of Santa Clara, Levi Stadium to start the fourth quarter. All time between the Giants and the Niners. Joe Tessitore, Jason Witten, Booger McFarland, Lisa Salters with you on Monday Night Football. And Marquise Goodwin is back in the game after he took time to get up on that last play. It's intercepted, and again it's B.J. Goodson. What a night he's having. And Goodwin is hurting again.
Well, they tried to go with the play action to Kittle, and they had Goodwin come back on a jerk route underneath. And he hooked up, and then he tried to go, and then he hooked up again. I think it just confused Mullins on what he's going to do it. You can see Goodwin go across, hook, and then go, and then he kind of stops right there. That subtle change affected Mullins with where he threw the ball.
Now here's the issue. Remember, he just had a helmet hit prior, and now watch the end of this play with Goodson here coming in for the interception.
Yeah.
Never like to see that.
No, so back-to-back times. Remember, he came off the field before, went back in, and there on the very next play, starts the fourth quarter here. He gets dinged again.
Yeah, and Ogletree hit him on the previous play. That time it was just incidental contact.
Right.
Goodson's going for the ball.
And Nick Mullins had hit on his last 8 pass attempts. But now the young guy from Southern Miss making his second start with 2 interceptions. Both balls deflected and into the hands of B.J. Goodson.
Typically the rule of thumb, if you're a receiver coming across on a crossing route, in man coverage, you continue to run. When you have zone, you have to sit down. Just a little miscommunication, whether it's man or zone, the quarterback and receiver not on the same page there.
Yeah, and regardless which one you do, just pick one and do it.
Yeah.
Don't confuse him with that. Now Eli's got great field position.
Like that.
He's got it.
As he's able to go underneath to Ellison for 5. There's something about Goodson in prime time. So he's got 2 interceptions tonight. His first career start came week 1 of 2017 in prime time. And he had 18 tackles in a Sunday night game. That was against Dallas.
Yeah, he was all over the field, sideline to sideline. He's big, he's physical. He's got awareness to find the football. He's just very instinctive.
So give him a Sunday or a Monday, and he's going to get it done when the lights are on. Lisa.
Hey, Tess, Marquise Goodwin is in the medical tent right now being evaluated. I just saw the unaffiliated neuroconsultant go in there, so they are probably checking him out for a concussion.
Thank you, Lisa. 3rd down and 3. Eli's been solid on 3rd downs tonight. He's 7 of 9 on third downs. He's gotten 5 first downs because of it. And he's distributed the ball well. He's hit 6 different receivers on those 7 third down completions. Pressure in his face, and it's incomplete. That was Arik Armstead, who was collapsing on Eli Manning.
Yeah, and they were coming in there with a little bit of pressure in the inside, and then they say, okay, he's going to drop and come, and when they do that in those situations, they end up dropping both of them. He's got to hook up right there. There's a soft spot in that zone. Warner's behind him, and if he does that, this is a place for Eli to throw that ball in that situation. Instead, he's kind of jogging, trying to read Eli. Just make a decisive decision in that moment, and the quarterback will find you.
So Dixon on to punt. As James will have the fair catch near the 15, and we'll have 13.5 minutes to play with a tie game, and Nick Mullins back out there. Hated matchups in recent Monday Night Football history is coming your way from Mexico City next week. You got Mahomes, you got Gurley, you got 9-1 Rams, 9-1 Chiefs. The matchup you're looking at with?
Yeah, the Kansas City Circus offense going against the Rams defense, who gave up over 270 yards rushing to Seattle. Fake the toss sweep, throw it underneath, Kareem Hunt, and he's going to carry it in. This rushing offense for the Chiefs is something else.
It may be a circus offense for the Chiefs, but for the Rams, they're the #1 running team in football, and what does that do? It sets up the play action. How does Kansas City defend the run and then the play action? Can't wait to watch it.
That's going to be sensational. Rams and Chiefs from Mexico City on Monday Night Football, and to be in store for a very entertaining finish to this game here. 20-20. Mullins had the interception moments ago, his second, and now Matt Breida, the lone back here, as the Niners get the ball back. Defense did their job. And they pumped a couple of times with Kerry Wynn in his face, and it'll be 2nd and 10.
Yeah, Mullins just needs to be patient right now. He's been patient all night and had the turnover there. His defense bailed him out, getting a stop. He's backed up. Just take what the defense gives him. Do not turn the ball over or take a sack in this area of the field.
And if you're the Giants, do me and America a favor and cover number 85, George Kittle, because that's where he's looking all night. Make someone else beat you here in the 4th quarter.
He's been targeted 10 times.
Yeah, he's got 9 catches. He's the weapon. He's the guy. He's got a lot of confidence to go to. He splits out wide.
Quick strike on the slant, and it works, and a big hit taken by Kendrick Bourne by Curtis Riley, but 13 yards on the play.
And that's the first one we've seen tonight. That's the RPO, the run pass option. Motion Kittle back outside to clear it up on the middle. Allow those linebackers. They want space when you're going to the run pass option. Good conversion. Getting the first down.
White. Single. Okay.
Breida ran into his own man. Right into the back of Mike Person.
You know, it's been a great job by Kyle Shanahan tonight because he's been attacking the Giants defense where their weaknesses are. Number 1, Landon Collins. Doesn't matter if he's man-to-man or zone against George Kittle. It's been a mismatch all night long. Then you talk about the play action with Alec Ogletree. Man-to-man play action zone. It hasn't mattered. They've attacked number 21, Landon Collins, and number 52, Alec Ogletree all night long.
Tight.
He pulls it on 2nd and 8 and goes nowhere. Goodson was waiting for him.
Well, the Reed told him to go ahead and pull it, but not sure that's exactly the guy you want using his speed.
Well, the Reed needs to tell him something different then.
Exactly.
He's got Morrow on the backside. He's got him blocked on that situation, and then he pulls it because he has a lead blocker in Kittle going to the safety, but Goodson, he reads it, he sees it, and he's right on that football. He's a smart football player.
Listen, someone needs to tell Nick Mullins, hey, this ain't Southern Miss against LSU, baby. Come on, you can't do that in the National Football League.
Why's it got to be about LSU?
You could have picked any college, Joe. It doesn't matter. Pick BC. It doesn't matter.
3rd down and 9. Pressure off the edge. Mullins stands up to it. And Pettis couldn't dive ahead.
It was a nice pickup, though, by Kyle Juszczyk. You know, they're one of a few teams in the National Football League that still employ a fullback. He's the highest paid fullback in football. And watch him slice him down. Call that Johnny Appleseed. Just cut him down. A little Ginsu there, Tess.
You don't see the fullback being the third down back very often. And the big reason why is because he can scan across and pick up the blitz. Good block by Juszczyk.
You mentioned Juszczyk. The average salary of $5.25 for a fullback. No other fullback in the league makes more than $2.1 mil. Henderson trying to wiggle his way on the return. So both defenses settling in here in the fourth quarter. Still tied at 20s apiece. Against Monday Night Football is brought to you by Charles Schwab. Own your tomorrow. We don't often show you the workshop of a stadium, but why not? The grit, the glory, and the guys who help keep it that way. I like that Bill Walsh Drive street sign that they put down there in the workshop. Manning wants to take a shot, and waiting for it is Odell Beckham Jr., and he needs to throw it deeper.
He had him wide open. They went on the double move, just a stutter and go. And Eli tried to throw it as far as he could in that situation. Quick play action fake. Odell faked it out real quick in the double move. Wow, did he get past Witherspoon? Just underthrew it.
Warden Witherspoon played catch up.
He had them both, Joe.
That's it. 118. Like that.
And now Barkley on second down as he was met by Armstead and Exum.
You know, he'd like to have that one back. He's got to make that throw. All the noise. His future's hanging in the balance. We've seen him go on hero drives before. That was an opportunity.
You know, we can talk about him making that throw. I wonder if Eli has the arm strength to get it there with. I mean, there he had a touchdown if he could have gotten it there. He just didn't have the arm strength or the timing to get it down the field.
Hey, sort.
Third down and 7.
49ers bringing pressure, looks like, off the top of the left screen.
He likes Odell at this spot on the outside. Allows him to get single coverage.
And he is sacked again. A constant theme this year. As Buckner and Watson get to Eli. The first time he's gone down tonight. 32nd time on the season.
Well, you can see it coming. DeForest Buckner there, and they're 3 down front. He comes across the center. They're bringing pressure. 51, 48, 97. When they get in their 3 down look, they're bringing pressure. I'm surprised Eli Manning didn't see it and check to something a little bit quicker.
And Brown just missed with his punch. The right guard, newly acquired. That's the first sack of the night for the Giants.
And the second straight 3 and out. As Dixon punts away to Pettis, who is a dangerous return man in college at Washington, but he goes to the short side and is pushed out. Well, you talk about Eli and some career perspective. 112 wins in his career against 110 losses. And he's the only quarterback in NFL history with 100 wins and 100 losses for one franchise. The only Hall of Fame quarterback with a losing record, Joe Namath, was 62, 63, and 4. Eli's 2 wins ahead of 500 on a team that right now sits at 1-7. Tonight he's got a couple of touchdown passes. Sacked for the first time moments ago, and another 3 and out here. Breida off a good block from Juszczyk, and look at Matt Breida. Marquise Goodwin with a nice block as well. 23 yards.
Juszczyk with the big block. He's having a night as a blocker, leading the way, going on the outside, finding the linebacker. Really wasn't his guy. He said, Joe Staley, I'll come off and pick it up there, making the block so they can get in there on Ogletree, creating lanes. And that's the power of the zone scheme. I'll take your guy, you take mine. Just figure it out on the run, creating a hole for Breida. He's got great patience for this scheme.
Yeah, good patience, got that seal from Juszczyk, the kick from Kittle, and then the downfield effort of Goodwin matched up against Jenkins to get him even more yards. Now out of the eye, Morris tackled for a loss, swarmed by that Giants front. Mora getting in there as well as Carter.
You know, guys, just to follow up on Eli Manning conversation, because this is going to be a debate as his career comes to an end. Is Eli Manning a Hall of Famer? Yes, he's got 2 Super Bowl wins, but he hadn't made the playoffs in any other season besides those 2 Super Bowl winning seasons. If I had to vote right now, I would not vote Eli Manning in the Hall of Fame. He's had some spectacular playoff runs, but in my opinion, he's not a Hall of Famer.
Well, going on the road and beating the people he was able to beating Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, and then the heroic performance. The New England Patriots were undefeated, 2-time Super Bowl winning champion. He has not won a playoff game, but he's been there. I think he's absolutely a Hall of Famer.
That's correct. He doesn't have a playoff win outside of those Super Bowl runs, but he's been to the playoffs outside of those Super Bowl runs. I mean, listen, the stats when you put him up against, you know, guys in the top 10, he's there with the yards and the touchdowns and whatnot. But I understand what you're saying, Boog, and many say that, okay, the 2 great runs.
Right.
But then there he is at 223 starts now, 112, 110, the way the back end is finishing up here. But obviously the numbers and the 2 rings, I mean, I would think he's going to end up in camp.
For the quarterbacks, they're all judged by that.
Right.
If you're winning or did you not. And during that run, going on the road the way he did, he won the division in 2011, but it wasn't pretty. And he had to go beat some tough opponents, some tough quarterbacks.
3rd down and 8 and complete again to Bourne. I mean, Mullins just keeps doing this time and again on 3rd downs. He's been impressive, the young guy.
Yeah, he is. He's getting good protection, sitting in there, sets his feet and strikes. He reads the coverage.
And the Giants DBs continue to get abused. You trade away Eli Apple, now you have Janoris Jenkins and B.W. Webb. And to be honest with you, I don't know if either one of those guys are going to be on the team next year, because those guys have not been productive. And when Nick Mullins has wanted to, he's attacked them on the outside.
You mentioned Eli Apple, who's traded to the Saints, was the starting corner from our number 10 pick in the draft. Also Snacks Harrison, one of the best run stoppers in the league, traded away by the Giants this season. Breida on the pitch on 1st down. Cuts back and does so well to the 21-yard line.
Yeah, Breida's trying to get the toss sweep to get on the outside. And Juszczyk, again, he cleans it up on the outside. Right here, Olivier Vernon, he's supposed to be blocked by Bourne. Instead, there comes Juszczyk to clean it up, create a lane, just get this young back started. And Juszczyk, he plays it like he's the back, like he has the ball. And that's what allows him to get these blocks on the run, on the fly. Bourne misses it. Again, he scoops it up, creates that lane.
I like the way you frame that. He plays it like he has the ball.
Reminds me a lot of Mike Allstott. He used to do that.
What a compliment that is.
Get him a neck roll, and I think he may be in there.
This time stacked up by Morrow there. Good play defensively for the Giants. It'll be 3rd and 1 there. Breida sitting at 99 yards for Kyle Shanahan's offense.
Kyle doing a good job running the football, bleeding the clock. We're late in the 4th quarter, under 5 minutes, in no rush, keeping your young quarterback calm. Love the way Kyle Shanahan calls the game for his young quarterback.
You know, and a lot of tensions on San Francisco right now, but look, there's 4:40 to go in the game. Eli's going to get this ball back with 1 possession. Yeah. With all that noise.
Do they keep marching here with a conversion, or do they get 3 on the board? 3rd down and 1. And it is a 1st down, and he's over 100 yards in his 2nd year out of Georgia Southern.
And what about the block by the rookie right tackle, McGlinchey? Got an inside shade there. He's going to cave it down, creating a lane. Bone on bone, 3rd and short, and you go right behind the rookie. Top pick, number 9 pick out of Notre Dame, but I love the way this guy plays. He's going to be a star in this league for a long time.
Highest drafted offensive lineman by the 49ers, number 9 overall. 6'8", 315, Mike McGlinchey. As his 5-minute drive marches on, they do so with Alfred Morris.
You know, it's an interesting story about McGlinchey. I was talking to John Lynch, and he was watching film on Quentin Nelson, and he couldn't help but just keep turning his eyes toward Mike McGlinchey. And so he had to dedicate some time just to watch McGlinchey on an 8-hour trip, 4 hours there, 4 hours back. That's when he was sold on number 69, Mike McGlinchey.
Yeah, and, you know, Kyle Shanahan gave him the ultimate compliment. He says he carries himself like a 32-year-old vet.
Yeah.
Most rookies don't do it. When he gets beat, he learns from it. I got it. I'll be better. He's playing at a high level.
2nd and 5.
Mike, what's the kid? 93.
Here's Morris going to test that right side. Excellent pursuit and fill by the Giants front with Vernon and Tomlinson. Big Dalvin Tomlinson at 317 pounds out of Alabama.
You know, Kyle Shanahan talked about this rebuild, and he said when we break through, and we will break through it, he's got the confidence between he and John Lynch. He really believes that we're going to look back, and the foundation is going to be laid right here. These years, these moments right now, how they play. And so, yeah, they're 2-17. They'd love to win out and maybe sneak in the playoffs. But all realistic, when they look at it, they say, hey, we're going to look back at this time. What did we learn? Who were we? How did we play? And they got a great opportunity here with under 3 minutes to go.
And who should be here? Who do you want to fight with when you're facing adversity with the situation that they've been dealing with, John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan? But I agree, you got to consider the injuries this year and everything that should have been and could have been with Jerick McKinnon, the big free agent who suffered the ACL, in addition to Jimmy Garoppolo, the franchise quarterback. So now a 3rd and 6. And there is Garoppolo sitting in the suite, watching on as the 23-year-old third stringer turned starter Nick Mullins faces a 3rd and 6.
And that's Kittle on this critical down. You would think he'd throw it to his guy.
Bourne, can he get there? Taken down. Excellent work by Haley.
And you know, the Giants were trying their best to get there. There was no pass rush there. Kittle is out in the route. He's going against Landon Collins. He's looking there, but Collins, for the first time tonight, is playing coverage. Then you got Goodwin going there, out in the flat, takes it out and up. He's not there, but the whole time, the Giants pass rush is not getting there.
You know, when he scrambles, though, you got to work hard to get back to the quarterback in his vision, get in his line of vision. He's fighting for his life in those situations. You got to find a way to get to him, not to expect him to find you.
So a 30-yard attempt from Robbie Gould. He's hit from 53. He's hit from 36. And now the 35-year-old Robbie Gould to take the lead here with under 3 minutes to play in the game. And good as gold is Robbie Gould. Giants trailing by 3, 2:46 to play. To help those affected by the California wildfires, you can go to redcross.org/ESPN or call 1-800-RED CROSS. I was just, scanning the news here, and just such heartbreak with the devastation, the death toll of the Camp Fire, as it's termed, about 200 miles north of us, is now at 42. It's the deadliest in state history. So 2:46 to play, and Eli will get his chance. There has been so much talked about of his future. Well, the future is now. He has 35 career game-winning drives in the 4th quarter. Said nothing's promised beyond tonight in this start. Pat Shurmur and Eli Manning, head coach and quarterback, had a very frank discussion this week. He says, listen, I know the business. I know what I have to do. He has to win. He has to show hope. He has to perform. Here's the chance.
And I'm going to take a shot early. And Eli Manning, he lives for these moments. See if he can take advantage of it.
That pass defended that time by Richard Sherman and Malcolm Smith.
He's trying to stick it in there to Beckham on the quick slant. Understanding that it's zone coverage. There's a hole right there. We give Richard Sherman credit. He knows the routes, awareness, and he drives on those balls.
And it's closing time for the 49er defense. John Lynch played with the Buccaneers when I was there. Anytime we got in a 2-minute situation and we had to lead, our defense said one thing: it's time for us to close the game out.
But they've struggled in spots like this year. 2nd and 10. Manning downfield, wide open and complete. Evan Ingram, big play, Giants.
What a shot he took. You know, he had Malcolm Smith in coverage on Ingram. You're going to see Ingram go up there, acting like he's blocking. There goes the safety, and they cannot get by him. You know, they run that little swing pass where they throw it to Barkley out in space quickly, and it's really a screen. And Ingram pretending like he's going to block, gets the fake, and goes right up there. Good call by Shurmur. And here we go, Eli.
31 yards. Manning to Ingram.
5-1. Rank.
And just settling in underneath to Ingram this time. That goes for 6. I mentioned the 49ers have struggled in this spot. Remember, they lost a couple games where they had the lead in the fourth quarter, lost to the Chargers, and of course, our thrilling Monday nighter up at Lambeau against the Packers when Aaron Rodgers came down at the end to win it. 2nd and 4. There is Barkley in space, but met by Richard Sherman.
What a play by the veteran guy.
3 by Sherm.
Yeah, just a veteran guy. You understand, tackling the outside leg, making sure that Saquon Barkley doesn't get there. Can Eli Manning finish on Monday night?
The line for the Giants, and then next week, so much on the line atop the NFL. 9-1 Kansas City, 9-1 Rams, a combined 18-2 records. Hey, the Giants and 49ers back in December 1990, they had a combined 20-win, 2-loss matchup on Monday Night Football. This is the second best one coming next week. Here's 3rd and 7 for the Giants.
49ers in a 3-man front.
And it's man-to-man. You saw it there.
Anytime they're 3-man front, they're bringing pressure.
Movement.
False start. Offense, number 71. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
You can't have penalties like that. And Hernandez, the rookie, he feels it. Look at him. He's trying to hold on to it, but that's a costly penalty because now it affects you with the field goal.
Third and 12.
They're trying to hide it. I think it's going to be a soft zone in behind it. There's in cuts on the inside. That's where the area is with these 2 high safeties on the back.
Manning goes underneath instead. A flag comes in with the coverage of Barkley by Malcolm Smith.
Wow, he got
Shanahan's hot, red hot.
Well, he had Barkley one-on-one on Smith, and looks like they got a holding. Costly penalty
Before
by your
the pass is
linebackers.
thrown. Holding. Defense, number 51. It's a 5-yard penalty and an automatic 1st down.
That was on 3rd and 12.
Well, because it's cover 2 and the 2 safeties on the back end, he's going to get this matchup right here, and Barkley's going to go up and out, and you can see all the space underneath. When he does that, he fakes like he's blitzing. Smith does. Barkley says, you're not going to fool me. I know you got me in coverage. Good awareness to say, give him a little juke there. And that was the look that Eli saw with that deep safety. That was the matchup.
First penalty of the year on Malcolm Smith, and it comes in that spot when you could have closed out the game.
Oh, he's got
throw.
space.
Here's Beckham Jr. Can he get to that edge? Flag is down. And it's down back at the 45.
Holding. Offense, number 78. 10-yard penalty. Replay, 1st down.
These teams are showing why their record is what it is at the end of the games. Brown overrides it there, and you see he comes underneath it, but Blair comes underneath and gets the penalty, but it's a quick screen. Going to the weak side.
Yeah.
Okay, you overshot your landmark. Don't worry about it. That ball is out. Blair is not going to get there.
Unnecessary.
Unnecessary is right. And now, backed up. We've got a long ways to go here for field goal position.
And if you're Eli, you don't have to get it all back now. Just get a little bit. Try to get this team back in field goal range.
Backed up to a 1st and 20.
He's got Barkley again.
Downfield, Barkley threw it short and underneath as Barkley was on the wheel that time, matched up against Marsh.
Playing a little man coverage. Eli saw it pre-snap with Marsh trying to be on the inside. Having a drop. Marsh has 2.5 sacks last week. He's a rusher. Eli loves it. They're trying to play like his defensive end. 49ers defense was confused there. Smith ran with it as well.
2nd and 20 now.
Hey, 5-1, Rocco! Rocco!
Downfield again. He almost hit the back of Witherspoon. And there's the flag that comes in as Beckham gave the look. Witherspoon's pleading his case, but the flag is there. And the Giants are going to grab all of it. So John Lynch, the GM,
Pass interference. Defense number 35. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
Well, he's got him good. He turns. He's riding him outside. I don't know.
What a yo-yo of a drive this is with the penalties. Back and forth.
Yeah, I think he didn't turn around. You know, the ref said 35, but it was against 23 right there. Witherspoon has to turn around. It's one of the pet peeves for defensive backs. If you just turn around, put yourself in position like you're going for the ball, the refs will give you the benefit of the doubt.
Now you're in field goal range. No penalties, no sacks in this situation. Stay aggressive. Try to take a shot with where they're at in the game here.
That 16-yard penalty has the ball cresting at the 35-yard line. Manning, a lot of time. Ingram couldn't come up with it, as he was covered by Malcolm Smith and Anton Exum.
Boy, Ingram's just going to fake the out route and go up, and he just kind of splits the coverage there. They played it well, though. He had Odell on the other side on a double move. He took a peek at it. Tough catch for Ingram.
And how about the Giants' offensive line? The much maligned New York Giants offensive line. They played a really, really good game tonight, giving Eli Manning a lot of time. Can they keep it up here in the last few minutes of the game?
And the 49ers were playing single high coverage. I'm backing off now that they're in field goal range. Do not allow them to get past you.
Timeout was called that time by San Francisco. You mentioned the offensive line of the Giants. They've only given up one sack.
Timeout.
Rosas is hoping to get his chance. He was hitting from 58 in warm-ups in this direction. Career long is 53. He's had himself a strong season. Was dealing with a quadricep muscle issue earlier this season. Tonight he's had a couple of short field goals. Will he get his opportunity here? One timeout remains for the Giants. Minute 35 left.
You know, this is tricky area now. A second down. In theory, you're in field goal range, but you would like to give him, make it a little bit more comfortable for him.
Yep.
So, you know, Odell on the single receiver. I'd like to see him on an in cut. Try to get, there's a lot of space on the inside between the numbers.
It's second down.
Shermer and Shanahan. Which way will it go?
It's interesting to see that Odell's the single receiver at the top, away from Richard Sherman. He's up here going against Witherspoon. That's a matchup they like.
Eli looks that way. But he then goes underneath to Barkley, and here goes Saquon as he turns Sherman around and then leaps out of bounds, and the Giants are in prime position.
Well, Barkley was able to go in there, fix the outcut now. There's Martian Smith again, same two. They're doubling him. You don't see that from this defense. Dropping the defensive end and the linebacker. We saw the wheel route early. They played it well. Now they come back. Pat Shermer drawing him up here, getting his playmaker the ball in space. Coming back with the angle route. Look at that athleticism. Hurdling him to get out of bounds.
Remember, we told you he has 35 game-winning drives in his career, Eli Manning. Will this be 36? Ingram reaching close to that line. A 9-yard reception there.
And I think if you're the 49ers and your defensive coordinator, Rob Salah, you got to get more aggressive here. Eli Manning is picking your apart. They're in field goal range. You have to get more aggressive and try to create a negative play here.
They've only come after him one time tonight, according to Next Gen. 2nd and 1. Looks left. Hauled in. Sterling Shepard. How about it, Eli?
He got it in. Can't say enough about Eli Manning, though. Responding in that situation, how long of 8 games it's been. 2-time Super Bowl champion. Feeling the nerves, of not knowing what the future holds, he responded. Had a chance to settle for a field goal. He said, no, I'm going to stay aggressive. Leads his team to a touchdown.
What an effort by Shepard. As the Giants roar back. They have played with such heart in the second half. Remember, they trailed by 10. This was a 20-10 game in the third quarter, and the Giants have lost 20 straight games when trailing by at least 7 points. That's the longest active streak in the NFL and the longest in New York Giants franchise. But in this second half, they have fought back, and they take the lead with under a minute to play. Eli to Shepard. And consider the recent days for Eli Manning and all that's been said and all that has gone on.
Not only that, Tess, but just what did we talk about at the beginning of the broadcast? Eli Manning needed help. The offensive line has protected well tonight, only 1 sack. The skill position players have made tough catches. Eli Manning can still play the quarterback position, but at this stage of his career, he needs help, and he's gotten a lot of help tonight. Now, can this Giants defense finish off a good night where Eli can ride out and be the hero tonight?
It was like that aha moment for the Giants offense, finally, right? I mean, almost 400 yards offense, but close to 100 yards rushing. Eli, play action, protection, get the ball out quick, and then taking their strikes.
On that last drive, Manning was 6 of 9 for 69 yards and a touchdown.
Well, it started with Ingram where they faked the little swing pass, looked like a screen. He gets right in behind. That was the shot play. And then getting Barkley. Saw it earlier where he goes on the out route, comes back underneath now on the angle, and then the touchdown, the quick out. Got a fade up top, one-on-one coverage going to Shepard. Almost 300 yards of offense. That final drive. And now Mullins, the rookie, gets a chance at it.
Yeah, from a 2-time Super Bowl champ to this guy making his second start. And that pass had Landon Collins getting just enough. As Carter was coming in hard on Mullins, and a flag is down
Personal
at the end
foul.
of it.
Roughing the passer. Defense number 59. It's a 15-yard penalty. First down.
And they're going to get Carter for that effort coming in on Mullins.
Yeah, Lorenzo Carter made a nice move, beat Mike McGinty around the corner. But at the very end there, that's the thing the NFL is trying to clean up. Driving the quarterback into the ground. A little extra force right there, driving Nick Mullins' head into the ground. He would have been okay without the extra force at the end.
He's a rookie. Costly mistake this point in the game.
He's a great player for the Georgia Bulldogs. Great speed off the edge. But a costly mistake. 49 seconds remain and a first down now at the 40. Here's Mullins as he works the middle with Bourne. 6 yards there. 1 timeout remains.
He's got to hurry up. They only have 1 timeout. Trying to save the timeout. Has to be a sense of urgency now.
Guy who was a scout team quarterback in recent weeks turned starter, Nick Mullins. As there was movement up front.
He's just got to be clear. He's obviously got urgency for his football team. Let everybody get set. Can't have costly penalties.
False start. Offense number 69. In lieu of a 10-second runoff, San Francisco has chosen to take their final timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
So they'll exhaust the timeout. And that keeps 32 seconds on the clock. John Lynch, the GM of the Niners, Kyle Shanahan, the head coach, seeing if young Nick Mullins has some magic in him.
Yeah, they're hoping that's the case. And Kyle Shanahan's talking to him a lot right now. You know, there was talk last week that Mullins says, does he ever stop talking? He's going to talk to him a lot in this situation because the most important thing is the time, right? So it's got to be out routes, getting out of bounds. If it's completed inbounds, you immediately got to spike it and give yourself a chance at a Hail Mary here. Goodwin's got that deep speed.
Can they utilize it? Mullins, instead of going underneath, remember, no timeouts left as he goes to Trent Taylor. So they're going to have to hurry to the line after the 12-yard reception.
You got to clock it.
He's calling for the clock. And that's what he does. And that leaves 18 ticks. trailing by 4 after Eli Manning had the go-ahead touchdown to Shepard.
Well, James Bettcher, he did a good job telling his guys, stay outside, give it to him inside. And, you know, Mullins understood it. He needed to flip the field position, get a big chunk. He's got 18 seconds now. You've got to get out of bounds at this point. If you throw it underneath, you can clock it and give yourself one more chance in the end zone.
Smiles for now for Beckham. Odell's hoping his defense holds on here. Mullins, plenty of time, goes downfield, and he's got it complete. Here goes Goodwin, trying to get out of bounds. Clock will be running here. Can they get up and give themselves a chance? 5 seconds remain. They have to line up and clock it. Can he do it? 1 second.
You know, that's bad awareness by Goodwin. I know he was trying to get out of bounds, but as soon as you catch it, it's down. It is down clock immediately. That extra 3-4 seconds running around, trying to score, potentially get out of bounds, it's costly. They got a break there. They're giving them the outside leverage. That's where the ball has to go. That's fine. Right now, immediately, it's down. You slide like you're a second baseman, or you're sliding into second base immediately, and that gives you a chance with 4 or 5, but regardless, they got themselves a chance.
Here's your ball game. Nick Mullins and the Niners and the Giants are going to use the final timeout that we have on the board. Isn't it great of what we've got here of, on one side, the 37-year-old, 15-year Super Bowl champion Eli Manning, who's had all the criticism in recent weeks, and he gets things done on that last drive and comes up with the go-ahead. And then opposite him is the 23-year-old who's been a third stringer, a scout team quarterback, who got the unexpected start last week, and Nick Mullins now is going toe-to-toe and has a chance.
And who do you think he's going to work here? You know, there's George Kittle.
All right, young Nick Mullins, what do you got? Last play to the end zone. Does he have it? Threw it too far, and the Giants.
Wait a minute.
Whoa, we got a flag.
I think we have a flag, guys.
We got a flag back at the 31.
Holding by the offense. That penalty is declined. The game is over.
Mullins was hoping for one more chance, but the flag is on the Niners, and Eli's got a smile. Game-winning drive for Eli Manning as he connects with Sterling Shepard, and then his defense holds on. The Giants win it 27-23. We're going to be in Mexico City next week for the thriller. The Chiefs and the Rams both at 9-1. Stay tuned for the GMC postgame report on SportsCenter. For Jason Witten, Berger McFarland, Lisa Salters, I'm Joe Tessitore. Thanks for being with us. SVP with a preview of SportsCenter right now.